the dream of every Canadian curler to become an Olympian. And there's no hiding the joy when you become Team Canada and have a chance at Olympic gold. Brier champions, world champions, Olympic winners, and they're all here in Kitchener and all vying for a trip to Winnipeg to have their chance at Olympic gold. The road to Sochi starts here. It's the road to the roar. And we are in Kitchener, Ontario, about an hour southwest of Toronto on the 401 highway on your way to London and then Windsor before hitting Detroit. As we welcome you inside the Memorial Auditorium and sliding into your picture, she will be featured today, the Olympian of 2010, silver medalist Cheryl Bernard in Vancouver. As on this Saturday, we say hello, Canada, and welcome again to another season of champions here on TSN. And what a season it's going to be. It starts here in Kitchener, won't end until Easter of next year, with the Men's World Championship to be played in Beijing, China. Of course, over the next couple of months, the focus will be on Sochi and the teams that will represent Canada. The Roar of the Rings begins December the 1st in Winnipeg. 6 teams have already qualified on the women's side. There they are. Familiar names, all of them, including Sherry Maddaw from Winnipeg, Chelsea Carey. But we have 2 spots to fill. It's the same on the men's side. We have 6 confirmed. Martin, Howard, Stoughton, Cooey, looks like a Brier field, as well as one of the best on tour, Mike McEwen, John Ecking from Ontario, 2 spots to fill. And that's what we're doing here this week in Kitchener. We're going to fill those spots. Val Sweeting will be on the ice out of Calgary against Bernard, as we have 4 women's teams remaining for those 2 spots in Winnipeg coming up tonight. Kelly Scott, Canadian world champion, will play Renee Sonnenberg. Scott, very experienced. Now you'll see Cheryl Bernard against Val Sweeting. Interestingly enough, similar in their experience in Bernard and Scott, similar to the experience that these 2 have.
The 3, Vin.
The 3. Linda and Russ alongside to begin this brand new year. Great to be back as always. But it is true, when you look at Bernard and Scott, very similar.
Certainly are. Look at Bernard last night. 2 unbelievable shots to put that game away, or they were gone. Started at 0-2. You have to have that experience factor to bounce back from a 0-2 start. A really good showing so far.
Val Sweeting, on the other hand, is a former Alberta champion, has been to a Scotties, but the team has been rebuilt and is very young.
Yeah, for Val in 2010, it was a big year. That's the year she upset Shannon Clybrink in that Alberta final, made it to the Scotties. The rest of the team, it's junior and university experience, but I've been impressed. Last night, a clutch shot in 10 to make it here, and look out, maybe the best brushing in women's curling.
So that's why we're in Kitchener. Fill out the field for Winnipeg. And it all begins now with Bernard against Sweeting. Then at 2-7, those are big games. Those are definite qualifiers. The winner between Morris and Jacobs, the Canadian champion, goes right through. And Morris no longer with Kevin Martin, of course. He is skipping Jim Cotter out of BC. And Kelly Scott against Renée Soderberg. They are at 2-7. Now tomorrow, make a note, we'll begin at TSN at 9, then CTV2, and then TSN2 to round out our coverage from here in Kitchener. It is the road to the roar. On our way to Winnipeg, and then 2 teams will make their way to Sochi.
The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops, frozen food at its best. By Tim Hortons, always fresh, always great tasting coffee. And by Ford, go further.
It is a must-win. Keep your hopes alive for a possible spot representing Canada in Sochi. Time to meet the teams now. It's brought to you by Ford, proud partner for 20 years. Cheryl Bernard and her team out of the Calgary and Glencoe clubs in Calgary, with Shannon Lexick, Laurie Olsen-Johns, and Susan O'Connor. Val Sweeting and her team are from the Saville Sports Centre in Edmonton, with Sweeting, Rochelle Pederny, Dana Ferguson and Joanne Courtney round out this team. And it will be Sweeting that has to have the last rock. She has the hammer this opening end of play. Bernard will throw first, and to get us underway on this Saturday morning to begin a brand new season of champions, this is Shannon Alexic.
When we talk about sudden death games, Vic and Russ, I think this is where we start to talk about experience. You mentioned how well Cheryl Bernard played, especially last night in a very difficult game. This is where you have to really keep your head about you and just think one shot at a time and not I have to win.
Absolutely, and for Sweeting, that's going to be the tough chore, being the rookie out here in this particular sheet. And we know what Bernard's going to do. They're going to be very consistent. They like to keep it pretty simple. They like to keep the rocks away from the center portion to give her skipper a chance to make some shots. So I think Val's going to play a couple fairly simple ends, but she can't give too much respect to Bernard. She has to put the pressure on him eventually.
Linda, you mentioned this young team, rebuilt Sweeting team in Pederney and Ferguson, Courtney. You have some junior experience in there, but a lot of it comes from the CIS and playing multiple CIS championships with the University of Alberta.
And every championship you play on is great experience, but it's not quite the same. It's not the prize that this one has. The Olympics is the big one, and so you can't think about it. And that's what I've been impressed, though, with this Sweeting team. They are very focused. They did play a very open style last night against Tracy Horgan, maybe partly because of Horgan, who was wanting to go that way with the hammer. But I really think that that's going to be the way they have to win. Very focused, just one shot at a time.
Line's good. Line. Yep. Gotta go line. Hard line. Hard line. Hard guys. Go, go, go.
Noticed a lot of curl every sheet the whole week. There's no difference in this particular sheet, sheet C. A lot of finished in both directions.
Trying to maybe bounce this in and catch the top, nothing. So we've got a pile of stones out in front. Let's take a look at what you think the game plan may be in a very important game, because the loser is eliminated.
Cheryl Bernard was so fantastic last night, and the team does set up for her draws in particular and rely on her to make the big shots. For Val Sweeting, she can't let that forefoot get closed down. She actually got into trouble last night with the hammer in 10 because that happened and had to make the big shot. So for her, maybe a little bit more open style.
The game plan brought to you by World Financial Group. Learn how WFG can help you own your future by going to WFGOwnYourOwnFuture.com.
You talked about the big swing on the ice. The stones really curl, and in particular at the end, they dive sideways. So you have to give enough ice. You have to get by those guards by enough, or you're going to be wide open on the other side if it's a single guard. So this makes it very tricky on the come-arounds.
So many overcurls we've seen so far this week, and they have, especially at the start of the game when the pebble's fresh, the rocks are a little sharper. They grab the pebble, that little extra curl, they slow down a little quicker. The brushers have to anticipate a lot sooner early in the game.
And then the challenge comes with hits. So here we have Lori playing a hit. Really matters how much you throw. If you throw the up weight, it will go fairly straight, but half weight will go.
That's probably control. Yeah, for sure.
Could you have played that down a little bit, thrown a little less weight, and maybe gotten the inside roll, do you think?
I don't think there's quite enough room there, not quite enough space, and you certainly don't want to crease that guard and open it up. So it's I think that's about the best they could have done in that particular situation.
Well, Dana Ferguson, 24 years of age, former Alberta junior champion in 2007, and again out of the University of Alberta with a couple of appearances at the CIS championships.
Also a left-hander here, so there's going to be lots of finish on her in-turn side.
And there's that roll, and look at this as it just jumps behind. Remembering now that it is Val Sweeting throwing the yellow stones that does have the last rock here in this opening end.
Just perfect speed control, Linda.
Yeah, and a nice collection of stones to roll behind. Now Cheryl's having to use the yellow one because those red ones are not in a great position to be used.
Laurie Olsen-Johns has gone to a couple of Scotties back in 05 and 06 when she was a member of Kathy King's team. Got the line, angle this back, catch it, and will remove the shot stone. Leaves the raised rock sitting top edge of the 8. but at least it's out in the open.
Yeah, that helps a lot, Vic. And the double raise is on now, too. They're lined up perfectly, so they can get at that yellow in either way.
I guess you can get 14 now that we've played this back? Yeah, I think so. What do you want, Kate? High 13 to 14. Okay. Yeah.
And talking about the time on this ice, it is fast, 14 seconds hog to hog, so you don't have to worry about the speed, but this kind of shot is tricky. We've talked about the curl. You're trying to play a split to keep their stones separated, and this is a bit of a guess as to the speed and the curl this early in the game.
Whoa, whoa, yep, whoa, 8. Whoa. No, around here. Not curling. 7. No, not on it. 8. No. Read around. You are around.
By certainly, and
Okay, that's good.
it'll slide and hold on at the back 12 to sit 2.
Any more curl, a fraction lighter, that shot's made. And that's the trick with this much finish, this much big curl. Any extra weight in it, you look silly with the line. It doesn't curl till later.
Get up. Real close. Close, yep.
Susan O'Connor's the only
Hard!
teammate remaining from that silver medal run in Vancouver. Makes a lovely shot there. Just misses the back stone. Got a little flip underneath. And right now it is Bernard sitting the 1.
One thing you have to watch with the skips, there is occasionally on this ice a bit of the panic voice coming out because it starts to make its break and you think it's not going to be able to be held with brushing. It really will take off.
It's similar curl to Breyer, Linda, I think, and then a little more curl than you see in a Scott. So for the women's team, it is a big adjustment, and they almost racked on that guard.
Yeah. Okay, well, 10.
Joanne Courtney.
10.
This is an example of speed, just a little bit different weight than was called, and it will not curl enough. Just pushes it
Oh,
out.
yeah. It's something, I mean, for an early, and it could be, in fact, it is early here, 9 a.m. Eastern time. The house a little bit more lively because in watching the last 2 days, we saw the houses were a little quiet.
Yeah, there was a bit of a frost problem to start with, and Jamie Barassa, the wonderful technician, has fixed that as we've gone along during the week. But with a little extra frost, the ice and the rings are that much stickier, and you do not get that big roll. You're right, Vic.
So we have a couple of overlapped guards sitting center line, belonging to Bernard. And chance here to maybe use them with Susan O'Connor.
Line only. Wait, line only. Top 4. Yeah, top 4. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Go, 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 you guys. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go.
And she'll tuck maybe half a stone to 3/4 of a stone. We saw, as you pointed out, a lot of late finish. There was one shot that Brad Jacobs, I think, made last night where it got to the rings and it just literally went. You thought it would pick. It actually picked something, but it was just that much curl in the house.
Goes by a dead buried rock, and it's just amazing the finish on these stones.
Whoa. Whoa.
So trying to open things up here is Joanne Courtney.
Ooh, it's got to get out.
Hard, 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 hard.
That's a bit of a style choice, too. It wasn't really necessary to make that play because the stone that was shot rock is just half 8, but she wants to keep it open.
Right, yeah, exactly. And again, that's the respect that Cheryl Bernard brings, I think, and this young team doesn't want to let the game get away, but by doing that, there's a chance for the sit 3 here already.
Just control after you guys. Okay.
Susan's curled hard here, so they're going to be careful.
Four-time Alberta champion, was a runner-up at the Scotties in 1996. Lost to Marilyn Bodo that year, and then of course the great run coming through the
Weight's good. Clean.
road to the roar, the roar of the rings, to represent Canada in Vancouver and won a silver medal.
Clean, fine. All the way in. Clean, 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 clean. Good girl.
One of the strengths of her in 2010 was those mental skills, the mental toughness. How many extra end games did we see Cheryl Bernard pull out by a great shot?
We saw it again last night, a triple in the 10th, or she's on her way home, and a great cross-the-sheet double and rolled Barry to steal the extra end.
But you even go back to 96. Remember the run she had at the Scotties and some of the shots that she made too. That's always been to my mind anyway, Linda, one of the strengths of Cheryl Bernard.
Oh, she's fantastic, yeah. And we come back to this format. There is so much pressure to become the Olympic team, and she's not only been through it, but she is so tough anyways with those mental skills. She's going to be hard to beat.
Oh, for sure.
Need to hold a little bit better.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
So the second lefty on the team is the skipper. I talked about the brushing, in particular Joanne Courtney. She is the third on the team, but doesn't hold the broom so they can get her on the right. You can see her body position and the way she leans.
One and across and slides underneath, and so the force is on here for Bernard.
Nice throw, Val. Thank you.
Yeah, they couldn't even hold it, and that's the tricky part in the first end about facing three. It looks simple. They're wide open. They're 12 foot, 8 foot, nothing big deal. Well, first end, you're not positive about the ice, and it really takes off, and the brushers have trouble holding it.
There wouldn't have been any shots down that spot in practice. Everybody does that race to the button to get the choice of last stone in the first end, and you warm up that edge of the 8 to the button path, but not down the middle, and that just grabbed a bit of pebble, curled a hair too much.
Yeah, just watching the scene, they're coming down right at the house.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's maybe just the pass, but all right, just stay close at the end. Okay.
There's the comment. It's coming down a little bit as it comes into the rings. It's slowing down a little more than they predicted. And Cheryl's questioning the front end. Is it the pebble?
Final stone for Cheryl Bernard and her team from the Calgary and Glencoe clubs.
Not really curling right now.
Yep, go, go, go.
There it goes.
Yep.
Here's Val Sweeting with the last rock. She does have the hammer.
Yep.
Get it off the line. Yeah, way over, way over. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Way over, way over, way over. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
And to draw a full 8.
Good shot. Good weight,
And so Sweeting will face 3 with her last.
14 and a half.
A little ad.
Two choices here. Obviously, you could hit that rock of Cheryl's, hit it dead on, stay, and score your point, or you can play the draw against 3. And most of the young teams over the years would play the hit in this situation. This shows a lot of confidence with the draw weight for the skipper.
Okay.
It's really important that Val got that information, because this is not the same path that Cheryl just played. It's wider, so they have to be watching to know the speed.
As we mentioned, Val Sweeting, a former Alberta champion, went to the Scotties in 2010, went 4-7 in Sault Ste. Marie. Facing 3 with her last.
There it goes. There it goes. Starting to curl. Don't want to. Okay. There it goes. 14-2. Curling hard.
Courtney.
Just touch the forefoot.
Very cool.
Nice. Throw, buddy. Throw weight.
To the tee line, edge of the button for a single as we're underway. First of 3 draws on this Saturday from Kitchener. We mentioned, of course, this is all about filling out the field for Winnipeg. On the men's side, only 2 teams have advanced to the point of where they're still alive to fill those spots in Winnipeg. John Morris, Brad Jacobs will have that game for you at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The winner of that one will fill one of those spots in Winnipeg. That's a big game coming up at 2. So teams today on the ice trying to stay alive, as is Mark Keane from Ajax, Ontario against Greg Balsden from Elgin, Ontario. Balsden with the 2-0 lead. Familiar names here. Brad Gushue, of course, gold medal winner from Torino 2006. Blank against Jake Higgs out of Glencoe, Ontario, just outside of London. And Rob Fowler, Jean-Michel Menard, both familiar names. Fowler, Manitoba champion. Jean-Michel Menard from Etchemin, Quebec, the 2006 Canadian champion. Menard with an early lead there. Those men's games all are winner move on, loser will go home. As we welcome you back to Kitchener on this very busy first of 2 days here in Kitchener on the road to the Roar. And so Val Sweeting makes the draw against 3. She picks up the single. And here in the second end of play, it will be Cheryl Bernard that has the last rock. She has the hammer, playing the red stones.
Well, we could have a whole lecture series on the placement of guards. I don't know if anybody would come to that lecture, but we could actually hold one. And that red guard out in the front, that's very long. And with the curl, that is almost not a usable guard.
Not at all. Right from that point just over the hog line, there's a minimum 3 feet of curl, closer to 4 possibly. That's definitely in the way of the button.
Watch the rim. Line's good. Line only. Yep.
Sweeting is sitting shot stone, top 4.
Drop rim.
About half covered by that off-center guard.
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's really good.
Shannon Alexic and her second stone here in the second.
Good throw, Shannon. Atta girl. Okay.
Shannon has been to 4
14-5 now?
Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
15. No. 5-14.
One out of Saskatchewan with Cindy Street back in 1999, and then moving to BC where she played with Kelly Law and Kelly Scott, and now is back
Light.
in Alberta and playing with Cheryl Bernard. You have to remember too that at this level there is no residency required, and people will wonder, well, how can they play? You know, we'll see it later today. John Morris still living outside of Calgary but playing with Jim Cotter. When you're playing to represent your country, you can live anywhere, but if you're playing for your province, there is a residency rule.
Yeah, so Shannon Alexic's from BC and travels and competes with these teams and also has to train. It's a huge commitment for players from other provinces to get together with those teams. And she's a great lead, and Cheryl wanted her to be on the team. So that one came up way short. That yellow stone that was just thrown was supposed to freeze to the red stone in the 4-foot. So that is still causing them problems. The big curl is pulling off a bit of the speed, and they haven't figured out all the paths across the sheet.
Whoa. Let it work. Let it work. Maybe a little firm, Cheryl. Hey.
That's good. Okay.
His road to the Roar began last Tuesday. 12 women, 12 men. Here was the women's field, and you see some familiar names. The highlighted names are those 4 remaining, but Shannon Kleibrink, of course, Olympian, eliminated. Amber Holland, Canadian champion. Tracy Horgan is there, Ontario champion. Krista McCarville, Ontario champion. So some familiar teams haven't gotten through. And to remind you of the format, it was triple knockout. So you had to lose 3 games. And that's why some of these teams out on the ice today are facing that kind of pressure.
Curl. Has to curl. Curl up. Curl, curl, curl. Go. Okay, that works. 14-2. Good shot. Heavy. It's 14-2. It's good. Huh? It's heavier than... What was 14-2? Yeah, high 14 is fine.
Back line.
Might be enough room with the late finish. That guard's pretty long in that 2-3 position short of the rings. They might be able to get this one to the inside of the center line. Bump it a little bit to be ideal.
Well, the fact that there's separation between that yellow and red stone, the yellow was just a tiny bit heavy and tapped the red one back, so there is a bit of room.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Lori Olsen-Johns, good brush, and they can't sneak it by.
Pretty good weight.
That's good.
We showed you the 2 men's teams who have already qualified for the final 4, as it were, Jacobs and Morris. So now they'll play this afternoon. The winner will get one of those spots in Winnipeg. But look at the other teams here that haven't qualified yet, are in must-win situations, including Brad Gouges, including Jean-Michel Menard, including Rob Fowler. It's been a very, very difficult, highly experienced field here. And every game, especially if you lose 2 games quickly, that pressure mounts. And that's why the experience of somebody like Cheryl Bernard pays off.
Oh, no question about it. And there's a good example right there. The rock was going direct slightly. They could have panicked, tried to brush it by to make the shot they had called. Cheryl yelled, whoa, let it fracture on the guard, rolled to the back of the 12-foot, stays in the scoring area. That rock could end up on the scoreboard.
Here's another big brush, trying to get it by their own center line guard. They did. Trying to hold it. Oh, and she tried to angle it back. And They got it by the guard, could not hold it enough to get that little angle run back.
I got a little fortunate. Joanne was inside on release. You see the little flip to the left? That's in behind cover. They got a little lucky there.
Did they ever? That's going to be tough to deal with that rock.
Yeah.
Cheryl's going to try to set it up by freezing to the corner.
Could also double peel.
That's basically the draw to the forefoot.
12 foot's not horrible either.
Good communication. Cheryl talking down to Susan, saying this is the rock we threw to the forefoot for the draw to the button for Hammer. They know this path. They know the speed. The brushes should be really close on judgment.
Line's close. Top 12. Got to hold line.
Susan O'Connor throwing the third stones for Cheryl Bernard, two-time Canadian mixed champion.
Ooh, they don't want to set up a double here.
Whoa.
Let's update the game between Brad Gougeau and Jake Hicks. Gougeau, of course, Olympic gold medalist, 2006 out of St. John's, Newfoundland. Jake Hicks and his team from the Glencoe Club. That's halfway between London and Chatham. They blanked the first must-win here to remain alive for a chance to go to Winnipeg, along with Jeff Walker, Adam Casey, Brett Gallant, and that is a draw for three. Gougeau has the lead there. That's interesting how that came across and just popped that little yellow out into the open on that side.
Yeah, it says.
Mind you, it's right there's but you see it's behind that long corner.
Yeah. It's raisable because the guard's so long. So Cheryl's got to be careful here. She was trying to set up a two-ender here, but now has to protect a little bit because that yellow raise is pretty easy.
Bernard with last rock here in the second, playing the Red Stones and sitting one.
It does show you how difficult it is to manage things by going so quickly into the forefoot. The fact that that house has shrunk to just the forefoot and the yellow one's in such a nice spot. It's tough for Cheryl not to set up something for the Sweeting team.
That's real fast there. It's not much of a kick there. 15-1. Yeah. And it,
Fast little spot.
yeah.
Remember, we were talking, Russ mentioned the draw to the button to start before the game to get Hammer really keens up that path. So they are going to have to be careful. This is the fastest spot on this sheet of ice.
It's so difficult when you're sitting at home saying, well, why did you throw that one heavy? Why were they light there? It's not the same everywhere. And you're right, Linda. 15-1 we just heard from Cheryl Bernard. Hog to hog, that's roughly 30 seconds end to end. That's quick ice.
I don't mean to be critical here, but we've seen this, and if you have that experience of a Bernard or Kelly Scott or the others here, you know that. We see teams actually throw so many stones for the draw to the button. You would think that that would be automatic now, that we know that that's the spot.
Well, and that's what's happened here. You're right, Beck. This particular spot, both teams did throw the in-turn draw to the button. In this case, it's actually Val's out-turn, but they... You just don't get it in your head that this spot's that much faster than where you just played on the previous end.
Don't tap. Oh. Sorry. I thought we could get it there. 14-5. Great weight. Just racked in front, yeah. Great weight. Yeah, just needed more. Yeah, we didn't want to chop off ours though. Normal weight there. Okay.
They might have lined this up. Cheryl's going to try to throw one really firm. She's got to be careful. Doesn't want to do that. But if she can come right across and get that second yellow one moving, they might get some movement over here also, and put a lot of reds in play.
Get all three of them?
Maybe. There's the first two will go for sure, but I think the second one will jam.
When we talk about making the big shot, every shot has to be the big shot. You have to be prepared to make every shot its best. But Cheryl is very good at just doing that, not thinking about outcome, just throwing a great stone when her team really needs it.
Yep.
Move them all, get rid of them all. Could be sitting 3.
Whoa. Yeah.
Bernard with her first.
Yeah. Hard. Yes.
What she got, 1, 2, and she'll get rid of 2. The remaining stone, though, is directly behind cover, but she still sits 1.
Best she could do, really. It was lined up on that angle that it wasn't going to move enough, but both of them gone. It's a lonely yellow in there now.
It gives her a little more room to maneuver, and the shot stone belonging to Cheryl is protected by that tight guard that Susan O'Connor threw. So once again, Val Sweeting's trying to get near that red rock on the button, but has to be careful about the angle.
See, they want to be almost on the center line. They put the broom in the middle of the 12th, but that's 5 feet of curl.
Mine's good. Mine's really good. Mine's good. Lock it line. L-line. 7. Yep. Mine's good. 7.
It's great
Mine's
brushing.
good. Mine's good. Just to it.
No chopping.
Okay, whoa.
And a little rub and roll off, and
14-2.
that quick spot catching her again.
Well, they also called for line because as it breaks, it does start to make them panic. And Val's got big brushing, so she has to be careful that she doesn't call them on at the wrong moment.
Don't mind that.
I like this. The 2 options here, you could throw take a little less ice and throw a lot of weight, but it's difficult to control the thrown rock. You're probably going to hit and roll away, and you can't afford to do that if you're Team Bernard. So they're just going to play that same draw, just an aggressive draw, give it to the brushers. They only have to bump it a foot. Takes that guard out of play.
Pretty fast spot, hey?
Yeah.
Pretty quick here, yeah. Okay.
Cheryl Bernard and her final stone.
Back 8. Back 4. Back 8.
Little quiet tap
7.
back. Could
Yep.
pick up 2, could take the lead.
Back 8. Whoa. Whoa. Back 8. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Laurie Olsen-Johns on the left, Shannon Alexic.
Yep. Yep.
Now Susan O'Connor calling them
Whoa.
on.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Just
Whoa,
have to
whoa.
touch it back, get it out of that button area, move it, sit there. There's 2. Cheryl Bernard will take the lead on this Saturday morning. We're in Kitchener, Ontario. It's the road to the Roar. Welcome back to Kitchener, and we talked about the experience of Cheryl Bernard, and you know, Val Sweeting has experience, been to a Scotties, but maybe something here didn't pay off for her. She just didn't make the right decision.
Well, exactly. We're talking about 2 great brushers, and maybe too good in this particular case. It's a tough freeze. You want to get it as close to the button as you can. We know it's a quick spot. You heard Bernard's team talking about it, but a little overbrush. If that stops 2 feet sooner, 3 feet sooner, it protects that in-turn lane for Cheryl Bernard, and Cheryl cannot score 2.
They call this Memorial Auditorium a mini Maple Leaf Gardens. And when you, those of you who remember Maple Leaf Gardens and the different colored seats, the golds, the reds, the blues, they are here. Very much in the way the old Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto used to be. So we welcome you back, third end. Bernard getting 2 in that second. Val Sweeting now has the last rock. She has the hammer playing the Yellowstones here in 3. The Bernard lead, Shannon Alexic.
One of the things when you're a coach that's hard to express to a team without confusing them is that smart side miss that we just talked about for Val Sweeting. There is a range for some shots, and in her case it could be a little bit light, and yet you can't get in your head, throw it light, because then of course she'll miss. But that's the hardest part, and somehow experience gets you able to do that naturally without overthinking it. Even the first one this end, that yellow stone belonging to the Sweeting team, is just a little bit deep. So now they force themselves into that 4 foot early. That one comes up short, so if Sweeting's team can get an angle, if Rochelle can throw a good one here, they can get out of trouble. But it's just that rock positioning that's a little off.
And you learn that as you play game after game after game, and you miss a shot like that, and then you'll say after the game, oh, wait a minute, if I'd been a little light, how does Cheryl Bernard get in there for 2? And then it's that type of sport. There's so many decisions, isn't there? And in that particular case, they missed the wrong way.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that, and we've never, over the course of our experience here, never talked about it. You're almost, Linda, all computing at every moment. Where is it? Well, okay, now out there it should have registered. The computer should have figured out. Leave it short. Your mind is always thinking not about just the shot you're trying to make, but what's happening as the shot is being played.
And locking in that weight, for example, and not getting yourself into a place where you're thinking, don't be heavy, don't be light, because then you're really throwing yourself off. So the computing happens in the setup, but now Lori's throwing. You just have to throw with that feel.
Get up. Right off.
And that's why Russ, not to be too simple about it, but that's why there are some people for whom skipping computes. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that some people, like yourself, like your brother, like Kevin Martin, they enjoy that. They find that. Others will understand the game. The front ends will understand. But that skipping position is altogether different.
I think it's an IQ thing, probably, Vic.
Yeah. Low or high?
Well, I'm not going to go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. And you, every time you play, I still play, and I'll go, geez, I never thought of doing that. There's a new option, and there's so many ways to skin the cat, right? There's so many ways to do it, and I in my situation, I learned it from golf, where, you know, if there's a pond on the left, I'm better to miss to the right of the fairway than if I missed. Both of them are misses. I can miss to the right, I can miss to the left. One's a good miss, one's a bad miss. It's the exact same thing in curling. Just a little lighter there. Cheryl can't not score 2.
My last one track. You're just throwing top 4. Okay.
This is an interesting path. We saw the hit for the Bernard team just miss. It is a tiny bit straighter in this spot. We even saw it in the first end. So that was the problem when we talk about what happens in the hack. Well, you had Dana saying, is that the right ice? And she has to believe it, because if you throw it and you're not believing it, you're not going to make the shot. You have to trust the skipper.
Hard line. Hard. Hard. Roll it off. Whoa. 14-6. Just getting fooled. Yeah.
I think you can get this double. Well, this won't go anywhere, and the run back.
We just heard 14-6 on the intern side. The intern coming home. We saw Val a little heavy on with that oversweep was 15-1. So there's a bit of speed difference there, and then that is again the experience factor, where we saw Bernard's team talking about it before they threw.
Yep. Hard. Whoa.
And this one's really curling.
It's okay.
They're hoping to make contact with those stones on center line.
We should have swept that a little bit. Good shot.
Well, we saw Brad Gouju get 3 in the second, and now he is sitting 1, 2, 3, 4. Final stone on the way from Jake Higgs. And his team from the Glencoe and District Curling Club mentioned that Glencoe is halfway between London, Ontario and Chatham. And again, this experience factor, maybe just the pressure of the moment. This is a must-win to keep yourselves alive. And he'll slide too far. That's a steal of 2 more for the gold medal winner from Torino, 2006, Brad Gouju.
There's definitely a little spot right here. It breaks once it gets into the 4 foot area. Not quite enough of that first one.
My first one's a different one. That's why.
Still a lot of yellows in there.
I think that's not bad.
Tap.
I
Take easy.
I think it actually make them both go away. I think Cheryl's afraid of hitting the yellow so thin that the red one goes over the top of the shot rock. I think half a rock with peel weight would remove both yellows.
You might be able to, there's enough separation, we might be able to play weight and get this one to straight.
Sounds like she heard you.
Sarah, come here and look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bit of speed here. Hit it about there. The yellow one's gone for sure, and the red might come this way a little bit, but it will definitely make contact with the yellow. With enough speed, it's gone.
Now he's just showing off with this IQ thing.
Isn't it?
Telepathic, actually. He just wills it down to her. Why don't you play this?
So, peel. Peel weight.
We haven't even touched on that area of skipping, though, and the experience, and that's the angles. And a lot of what happens with these runbacks also is depending on how far apart the stones are to know how much the distance is between them to see if the angle's going to work. So that's one thing. Cheryl does have that advantage as well.
Hard. Yep, hard!
While Susan O'Connor throws, we want to quickly go over Jean-Michel Menard, Canadian champion from 2006, scored one in the first. They blanked the second, but you see 1, 2 red stones. They belong to Jean-Michel. Final stone about to be thrown by Brandon, Manitoba's Rob Fowler. You see Alan Liburn there with the brush down.
Pretty close together. Let's do this.
Fowler, a former Manitoba champion. Seen him at the Tim Hortons Brier. Picked up by Derek Samagalski and Brendan Taylor. Big brush here, trying to get it by as this starts to swoop. Now you got to get right to the nose. And he'll hit it and roll away. So it'll be a steal of 1 for Jean-Michel Menard. All those games must wins to remain alive, as is this one.
10-8. Down, hey? Okay. Yeah, it was good weight. It wasn't up. 10-8.
Yeah, we yelled halfway.
I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Every sheet of ice has a little map for a skip. They're trying to figure out the curl, and this is the one place that's a little straight. And what's happening is you have a little bit of a tentative throw or a tentative call on the brushing. So they're not believing it's going to go straight. They're waiting and waiting and waiting for it to come over, and then they've waited a bit too long because the curl happens late. So even this one, to get an inside roll for Cheryl, it's tough in this spot.
Yeah, you called it. This is going to track also. It might roll right through off the hit.
Hard, hard.
A little lackadaisical there. They really could have brushed that all the way down, maybe played the thin double.
Kind of throw it out there. Well, I threw mine a hair out and then we just ran straighter spot. Yeah.
There it is, straighter spot.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Real nice situation here for Val
I like
Sweeting.
that. Yeah, that's good. Just need a piece of the 8. Yeah. Okay. Think it'll be good here? Yeah, the same, like as it's been. Okay.
When you're thinking about rock positioning in this case and the chance to draw a third stone into the rings, you have to start thinking about, is there a good chance to set up a 3? In this case, it's tough to get separation between all 3 stones and not leave something for Cheryl. So in this case, it looks to me like Val Sweeting is saying, I'm going to play it in a position where I preserve the deuce.
Right.
I want to make sure I have a chance for 2.
Staying away from that middle makes some sense too, because if Cheryl Bernard ever rolls buried, it's going to be tough to get at it.
And this one's gone as far as the position goes because it's really curled.
15-1. Good weight. She say?
I think just this
Scary.
yeah. Half a rock.
Yeah.
Updating you on the game between Mark Keane from Annandale in Ajax, Ontario, and Greg Balsden. Curls out of that Looney Sports Club in Elgin, Ontario, just outside of Kingston. Balsden gets 1 to lead 3-2 as they go to the 4th. We had a chance to visit that Looney Sports Club when we were in Kingston for the Scotties last year. Wonderful facility, just one sheet of ice, privately made, but it's got its own leagues going on. It's quite something.
And the Looney doesn't refer to
the curlers at all. No, it's actually the bird. Yes.
Makes more sense.
Yes, it does. Skip stones. Here in the third, 2-1. Cheryl Bernard to throw first.
Big curl in this spot. Gotta be careful.
Boy, does it ever start to go, and it's
Hard! 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 Right up!
boy, they did well just to hold it. That really does go.
Yeah, it does for sure. And,
Okay.
we've always found later in the week in the arenas, there seems to be more and more curl from the center line to the
I
wings.
know it's really going. Well, the draw's really good too.
And
It's
that's
hard
where
to throw it.
that's where the in is so straight.
What's the reason for that?
Well, I was going to say, when you often, your little hint as a skip is the one turn is straight, the other turn often has more curl. That depends if it's the actual ice or the stones. But in the case of it, there's the ice surface that's a little bit different. You often get that big curl, and we saw it with the draw that didn't even get into the position for third shot. It curled so much. So Val Sweeting's moved the broom over to the edge of the 4 on one side to curl to the 8 on the other.
Line's good. Becky. Line's good. Line's good. Not really curling. There it goes. There it goes. Make sure we're back there. Curling. Just here. You might run out of room. We're just T-line. Okay, make it behind T. We're not there. Okay. Just as far as it'll go then. We're good for Gotta sit second.
Extremely strong pressing, Linda.
And they do sit second, edge of the
Good judge.
8 foot on the tee line. Could you have played a more aggressive shot to maybe go around those other stones to maybe try and grab 3, or is this the play?
I think this is the play, and we're looking at the brushing again. Joanne Courtney on the right there. Look how low she is. She keeps her legs bent so she can get the pressure down onto that brush head. And great judgment as well, because with that curl, if they had kept going, they might have taken it past the tee line. It might not have stayed for second shot. So it was a combination of power and judgment that was so great.
Nearly impossible to roll for shot rock and be underneath cover. You can be underneath cover, but it's probably back in the 12 foot. So wonderful opportunity to score the 2 here for Val Sweeting.
Final stone for Cheryl Bernard.
Yep.
Leading 2-1 as we play here in this third end.
Really hard, really hard, really hard. Hard!
Wow. Couldn't hold it.
Good, Cheryl. Hard to be aggressive
There's
on
no
that.
way you. It's hard to call the sweep when you've got 3 feet of ice.
Good throw.
2's not bad, you guys.
Yeah.
You have to believe your eyes, don't you? It's so difficult.
right up and out.
Amazing curler, which is great. They just have to figure it out.
Full 8 for sure. Okay.
That felt like more than I threw this way. Like I don't think I can throw the same here, do you?
I thought it was the same. Pretty close.
Okay.
So taking the other turn, a little bit straighter one to draw into the middle, just discussing the difference in speed.
We were saying in the break we think it's a little slower on this spot where Val was a hair heavy, and that's a bad combination. She remembers the one she was a shade heavy on in the second end. If she dials it back here in a slightly slower spot, you have to be careful.
Nice, good. A little more than her last.
Looking to get
Curling.
the 2 right
A
back.
little hot. Okay, we need full 8 foot.
We're okay.
It's really curling now.
It kind of needs to.
Not
14,
going.
3.
That's nice.
Your stopwatch happy?
It was very happy. 14 seconds right on the button.
Beauty.
For 2. Val Sweeting's
I
happy.
added a little.
It's like, don't do it, don't do it.
And you guys are not even paying.
We are here in Kitchener before going here to Winnipeg. And the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings coming to the MTS Center. For information on ticket packages, please go to curling.ca/tickets. It's a wonderful field already, but there are 2 spots still open on the men's and women's side. They'll be determined today and tomorrow here at the Memorial Auditorium as we welcome you back. Busy 2 days here in Kitchener. 3 draws today, 3 draws tomorrow. 3-2, Val Sweeting leads out of the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton against Cheryl Bernard. And it is Bernard that does have the last rock. She has the hammer, playing the Redstones here in 4.
Deuce last stand was set up by an open miss by the Bernard second. That was a nice way to get it for Sweeting, who likes to play a little bit more open, and got that chance to set up the deuce in a little more open style. 2 guards this end, so I think we're going to see some come around, some more draws.
Let it curl if it's all there. Line only right now. Lead only, line's good.
This is the quick side.
You're fine.
Be careful, keep it in front half of the tee line.
This is a live look at the game between Mark Keane from Annandale in Ajax, Ontario, as he plays Greg Balsden from Elgin, Ontario. Keane leading, or Balsden leading 3-2. This final stone in 4, and Keane does have a chance here to possibly get a deuce. Tough to see which is shot stone as the rocks come into play around the edge of the 4. And now they got to get it out of that 8, and they do. Very nice. Nice shot for 2 for Keane.
This is all over the yellow one.
Going to play the split and try and leave a second corner.
Easy, not on. Good.
That's really good.
Atta girl.
Or minus. Do you like feeling the corner or no? Well, hit and roll over. Yeah. I don't like feeling that corner. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You could rip that one too. I don't like that. I like going after that one.
I like the call here. Even though you're sitting 2, it's tempting young team just to ignore the red ones, but that red one's in a wonderful spot. Cheryl rolled it over there on purpose to use it as a corner guard later. Make it go away, maybe even roll in the rings.
Little big. Oh. Yep. Hard. 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 Yep. Hard. 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 Whoa. 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 Nice shot. Good.
Really good positioning.
Double this way.
One thing you've noticed during this week, and we're seeing in this game, is rotation makes a big difference, and Dana had good rotation on that peel, so it took a moment to catch the curl, but once it did, it still goes, but it just makes it a little more readable than those with less rotation. You have to be up in the 3 range.
Yes, for sure.
Whoa.
Other one. Yep.
Plunk it through the hole. They got to make a decision here.
Picked it up now. And she'll run it back and get the stone off the edge of the 8.
Just a little thing, but really good call by Cheryl. They were trying to let it bend and make the other double, and then she realized that was not going to happen. So they changed the call, the audible, started to brush it early and made the other double.
So we started saying we would see some draws, but the chance now to peel off the second corner for Val Sweeting.
Swingy side.
Hard. You got it. You got it. You got it. Go. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Rolls a little too far, covers the 8 foot, rolled past the shot stone, center line.
I think this is the change in Cheryl's game over the last 3 or 4 years. They're a very defensive, wonderful hitting team. They made a lot of hit and rolls, and I would say 4 years ago, Cheryl would play the hit and roll in this situation, which is a low, very high difficulty shot, low chance of actually making it. With this much curl, the come around's automatic. Just anywhere in the vicinity weight-wise, it's going to finish and put a lot of pressure on Sweeting.
Especially this early in the end. This is a great chance. Lots of time to get at any opposition rocks in the house.
Back 8. Starting to come down. Yeah, back here, though. You're going to have to go way back. Go.
So easy to bury one here. Watch how much room there is past the guard here, but 15 inches by the guard.
Great. Yep. Yep.
There it goes.
Go, 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 go. Yep, 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 yep.
Good sweep, Sam. Did you get that, Cheryl? I didn't, sorry. That's okay.
Hi, girl.
She looked pretty good at it.
A little bit deeper than they wanted it, but it's in behind cover.
Room. Lead only. Gotta be back here. You can go if you have to. No.
No.
Stay close for line.
There it goes.
Yep. Hard. Room. Yes, hard line.
Where are you?
Get over curl. You gotta sit fully.
Sit. Good. No, it lost its handle.
Well, I just talked about rotation. At the end, that didn't have any, and I'm not sure if it was all in the release or just the path it took. There is so much curl. It's really trying to drag that rotation off the stone. I thought she might take a little more ice or even play a little tap on that because it really will curl. You've got to believe it.
Slower rotation, more friction, more curl. And it's not in the spot they wanted it.
I'd like to go.
Running super straight.
Top 8. Top 8.
Super straight.
Yep.
Nice line on this one.
Room. T.
Oh, looks like a ton.
T. Yep. Gotta go. Gotta go. Hard.
Above T.
Hard. Yep.
Above T.
Really good.
Nice
This
spot.
took a real long time.
We talked about decisions. Well, the decision that Val Sweeting made this end was not to peel the guard and open up that red stone in behind it, but to go to it. And once you start to play around that corner, you have to be more precise than ever when you don't have the last stone.
I love it when my opponent's playing around a corner guard when you have hammer. This is a nice situation for Cheryl Bernard.
Line 7.
Oh, then.
Line's good. 6. 7. Lead only.
Playing third
7.
stones.
Whoa, then.
Joanne Courtney.
6. No. Like to go
Talk
little.
about
Ready to go,
degree of
Cheryl.
difficulty of stones. An angle freeze on a rock in front of the tee line is a toughie.
Hard. All there. Whoa.
Tapping.
Whoa, then.
Good.
You know, Linda, I was in the, it was a wonderful 2.5 weeks Canada Summer Games in Sherbrooke. And so many, now they were summer games, but you see it as well with the winter games and curling now on so many resumes as athletes progress in their careers. The CIS, university curling, has improved that much as well. There's now a World University Games as well. So all those little bits of experience add up to mean something when you come to something like this. You're never going to replicate this kind of pressure, but at least you come in with something.
Absolutely. It's a simulation is what you look at, preparing you for the rest of your career, and it certainly did that.
That's good. Nice shot.
Really good. Yeah, that was super thin. Because I wasn't far off a quarter.
We just draw one over there. How about that?
You just can't wait in the column.
Not bad.
No, it's actually really good.
We mentioned this week is a triple knockout, and so for Val Sweeting, she dropped one right out of the gate, but managed to stay alive on the beat up, but then she lost to Kathy Auld. So now, at that moment, she is in must-win. Beats Shannon Clybrink, Olympian, beats former Ontario champion Tracy Horgan, and now is in a similar situation. Must win again. So you drop them early, that pressure builds very, very quickly.
It's really difficult for Cheryl to come in down and deal with this rock because it could jam on that back red one, but they have to, if you are Val Sweeting, you have to be careful about this red slash. That rock is definitely available on the in-turn side for the Bernard team, and this will slide right through that way and create a big score. Got to be really careful here.
So Val's going to draw to sit 2, and in thinking about that, Val's seen that slash. She knows it's possible. So when you're placing this stone in the house, you have to have those two things in mind. Where's the best spot to be second shot? But also, what can I do once that slash is made? What can I do next? So she has to think of both sides of the house with this, although she's drawing away from the clutter at the moment. so many draws on that edge of the 8-foot, edge of the 12-foot in. This is a different spot again.
Really going. Nice good. Pulling.
Oh, they're really
They're
on
up
this
there.
one.
We just see hard. Hard.
But look at that, heads bobbing up and down, trying to
Gotta go.
looking where they want to put it. And they really worked hard to just get it there to sit the 2. Wonderful brushing. Rochelle Piderny and Joe and Courtney.
Well, that made a huge difference. That could have easily stopped to be not second shot, not even third shot. So great job dragging it there.
Extremely powerful brushing. Almost over curl, too.
Okay. Kind of out in the frost line, so.
Most club teams would hit that open rock for sure, try to roll over somewhere, but Cheryl's trying to set up a big score here. She's going to play that shot we illustrated. If she can stick it, there are 3 red ones buried, and a difficult pressure shot for Val.
Normal. All right.
Just try to hit it as thin as possible and try to get it over here. The yellow goes, but the idea is to try to keep the red one here and not over here.
But as you think ahead, Linda, in Cheryl Bernard's planning here, if she doesn't make this, does she still have an opening to get her single?
Yeah, there's nothing out front. There's not a big risk that way, but this is a chance she's taking, ignoring the other stone, trying to make a shot to set up a big score.
And stick it, and she does. And look at them. 3 of them
Good shot, Cheryl.
behind that corner.
And we talked right from the beginning that Cheryl is the big shot maker on this team, and the team knows she can come through. So here's the setup to sit second, third, and fourth shot in the house. Val knew this was coming. This was a possibility, but Cheryl has forced Val Sweeting now to draw to a pretty precise spot.
We mentioned that, Susan O'Connor, for example, is the only remaining member of that team from the Olympics in Vancouver. How big is her part in all this?
Well, you just saw it right there. That sweeping call was fantastic. They're aiming at an inch and a half of that rock, and they're on off. She was aggressive with it. Probably at the hog line they had air, and they knew we were going to curl enough at the end. And I think it helps a lot. You want somebody that's you're really comfortable with in these big games.
Quickly do the game. Brad Gouju, Jake Higgs. Gouju up 5-1, and his final stone on the way. And then we'll just have a look. Gouju in a must-win as well. And there they are. You can count them up. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Gouju as he explodes now, leading 9-1 over Jake Higgs.
Good. Nice. That works.
You like it?
Do you guys like trying it? Or do you just want to take our one?
Val tapped the rock she was drawing to, so it is free as it can be removed, but this is a very difficult angle for Cheryl.
You can probably, if you go into this, you're okay.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well,
So we're
pretty
trying?
steep, hey? Well, no, not really. I mean,
Longtime coach Dennis Balderson makes his way out onto the ice.
Up to you guys.
what you got?
I kind of like it.
Well, let's play it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you guys are okay. Worst case, we go down 2, right?
That's fine.
I don't think that's a big deal.
No, let's make
Okay.
it.
I showed 2 lines there because that is the other option, the veteran plan B here. You can play the thin double, which is really difficult. That's what they're going to try to do with a potential score of as many as 4. But if this over curls a little bit, you can really let it curl, just roll to the 4-foot. Or if it curls a little less than they want, you can bounce off that rock in the side of the 4-foot or 8-foot there and maybe save your single. These are tough, though.
As soon as they said 9, I knew we had lots of room. I vote.
Do you like her reasoning as well to turn around, Linda, and look at the scoreboard and say, what's the worst? We're going to be down by a couple.
Absolutely, risk and reward. The reward is a chance for 4. The risk is you take 1 out only and give them 1.
Final stone, looking at possibly scoring 4. You can hear O'Connor calling on Alexic. Olsen Johns Now, okay, one, come across, a catcher. And that will be for a single. So uses her own stone as the catcher to pick up the single, and we're tied at 3 Saturday morning in Kitchener.
We went whoa, and then,
It's a busy way to start our season of champions. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, John Morris. No longer with Kevin Martin, of course, skipping Jim Cotter out of British Columbia against the reigning Canadian champion, world silver medalist Brad Jacobs. That will fill one of the spots in Winnipeg. Then tonight, 7 p.m. on TSN, Kelly Scott, Renee Sonnenberg. That will fill one of the women's spots in Winnipeg. Now, make a note, tomorrow we have 3 draws for you. 9 a.m. will be on TSN. Across the country at 2 will be on CTV 2. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, to fill out the field for Winnipeg, will be on TSN 2. So we welcome you back to the Road to the Roar here at Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. Seats about 7,200 or so.
Yep. Hard.
Risk and reward, Linda talked about. The reward, the big reward, would have been a possible 4. You make that thin double, but the catcher helps. Cheryl Bernard gets the single. And so we're tied at 3 as we go to the 5th. Val Sweeting out of Edmonton will have the last rock. She has the hammer playing the Yellowstones.
We talked about what Susan O'Connor brings to the team for Team Bernard, and that you just saw it again with that sweeping call. They were trying to thin double. She knew it wasn't going to be made. Yelled whoa just in time. It curled enough to jam on that side one, and instead of a steal, a big steal to go 2 down, they're tied.
We're gonna have to go then. Lead only. Line's good if you're light. Hard, right to it. Hard. Oh my God. Oh, leave it wide open. Leave it wide open.
Just too wide.
Sorry.
Thank you, Betty. Let's go.
Updating you on the game between Greg Balsden out of Elgin, Ontario, and Mark Keane from Ajax. A 3 in the 5th. And so now it is Balsden leading 6-4 as they go to the break. So the way it sits right now, the potential there, the Balsden leading, and with Guju leading in his game, it would be Balsden and Guju meeting later today. Again, must win for those teams.
Hard, guys. Whoa. Good shot. Atta girl. Good shot, Lori.
Val tried that come around, and I think the Yellowstone got a little bit wider, and in that spot doesn't curl as much, and it came up quite short. So hasn't set up very well, and with that rollover by Bernard to a second guard position, I think Val will want to clean this up.
And it's going to be tough to clean it up because both reds they're kind of angled that one of the reds might stay.
The other must-win game on the ice is on the men's side as well. Jean-Michel Menard, Canadian champion, former Manitoba champion. Fowler out of Brandon. They're tied at 2 as they go to the break after a blank in 5. The winner there will move on to play later today from Saskatoon, Steve Laycock.
A 4 guard, Sue? Or, sorry, 4 in the house. 8 foot? Did she call a guard, though?
I think she's a guard.
A guard? Okay.
Like a 2 or 3? Yeah, 2.
You got the jam, the way those reds were lined up, it jammed on the yellow, and it's perfectly guarded, and a free try here for the Bernard team.
We talk about teams that are a little bit more defensive minded, or at least like a little bit more open style. And I'm looking at Val Sweeting and knowing that's probably her preference. And I'm thinking about teams like Rachel Homan, who last year set a different standard in curling and around the world, really, by playing the tick shock, or the weehoo, as we call it, and letting themselves open up that front when they have less stone, and not necessarily always having a chance for two, but not risking a steal. And I'm looking at someone like Val and wondering maybe in the future if she'll try something like that, just to have that comfort of that forefoot being open. Because as soon as those come-arounds are short, you've got all that mess out in front, and now you're bailing and bailing.
Yeah, you need a couple double peels to be able to clean things up for the skipper.
Really close, Dana. Good try. Good for buddy.
Nice situation
You
here
can
for
be
Bernard.
positive with it, though.
Try one, Sue.
Are you surprised after seeing the success of Rachel Homan that more teams aren't doing it?
I think what surprised me, and Russ and I talked about this over the last couple of days, is we arrived here, and I've seen some of the Bonspiels as well, and I thought more teams would go to some of that style. Maybe not quite as much as Rachel, who plays it sometimes throughout the game and keeping it open that way. But here, they've gone the opposite way. We have seen so many stones in play. As a matter of fact, we showed an update where Keane gave up 3. Those 3 were all around the button. We're not just talking about a lot of rocks in play. The clutter has surprised me.
I think the little extra curl at the start of the week, they were talking about sheet E having as much as 7.5 feet of curl game 1. I think it makes that tick shot a little harder, so then you kind of get into a habit. You start playing the come-arounds, and you just don't get out of that mode. But you're right, Linda. It's such a weapon if you can make that tick. There it is. They're beautiful double here.
But you also mentioned, Linda, it has to be practiced. It has to be worked on. It is similar to playing that tick shot, trying to keep an end open, right? In a
Yes, but you're right, Vic. And in the old days, it was only played to keep it open, for example, in the 10th end. And so it wasn't practiced as much. It was kind of pulled out of the hat at the last second. But if it is a part of your repertoire and used throughout the game, you practice it just like any draw or any hit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the downside is if you miss it, you're in trouble too. But you know, Lisa made so many of them during the Canadian World Championships.
Mine's good for a 2. Over curling. No, 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 no. Yep, yep, yep. Gotta go. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Good shot, good shot, buddy.
Nice placement. It's not easy with this curl to even put a guard out there in a great spot. They're also pretty smart. Back to that experience. The one side, if you're going to leave anything open, that you would leave open is the slightly straighter side, and that's exactly what they've done. So this is just a peel, a run back.
Close.
Whoa, other way. Whoa.
and gets them both.
Very nicely done.
Beauty.
Well, it's the same as that way. I don't know. Did you get to see the draw? Yeah.
Well, you can see the pressure that Cheryl Bernard put herself under. Losing her first two, so she's had to win just to stay alive, and has done it successfully last night. That win over Kathy Hall. She was down 8-6 playing 10, scored 2, and then Linda stole 2.
A brilliant shot making too, a triple in 10. Russ talked about that earlier, and then set it up with a great double in 11. And don't forget, this team, this Bernard team, have not had a great Bonspiel circuit either. Ranked 48th on the list for women. They played in 4 events, didn't earn much money, so sometimes your confidence is fading a bit. Then you lose a couple to start this event. They have fought very hard for those wins now.
Right, that speaks to that experience, doesn't it? They never panic in this team, and it's paying off now.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You got it. You got it. Hard. Yep, keep it going. Keep it going. You got it. Go. Keep going. Hard. Hard, right up. Go.
There's that finish we talked about. My goodness, look at that. Almost totally covered.
15-6. 15's perfect. Yeah, that's good.
Decision here now.
It's only 12 foot, so you have an option if you're Val.
Great line.
think it's hard to get out if we get there.
We were taking there, and we were getting to the center. Yeah.
So the first choice is whether to play some sort of run back and try and get out of this with maybe a blank or a draw. And then once you decide on the draw, which she has, is which turn do you play? And I tell you, this one's probably the trickier of the two.
Even a low one, because it's that wide path.
Easier to get around the two because of the slight stagger, but harder to figure out where to put the broom and even more weight to throw on this side.
It shows me Val's confident, though, doesn't it? Like the thing would be to do is play that defensive shot, run down there, throw a bullet down, and maybe get a blank. And she's saying, no, I actually have a chance to score 2 here. Put pressure on Cheryl, make this good, keep it in the top half of the rings, maybe score my deuce.
Line's good. There you can go. Line's good. Hard, line's good. Line's good. Hard. Line's anything. You got room over there. Line's good.
Closest to the stone on the left.
Really
Courtney
good.
out in front. This is breaking now. This is a big drag for these two. One more stone to go, ladies. Get it by one more.
I hit this, Cheryl. I don't think I moved it.
Good sweep.
That was just light. Right out of her hand, they took it.
Look at that form. You get your feet as far away from the rock as you can. And somebody said yesterday, if the broom broke, you break your nose. That's the position you want to be in. And they're putting a lot of effort into those.
Although it looked easier to the eye, I really think that was the harder path to pick. Just my opinion.
Yes.
Because they've had so much trouble figuring out that spot.
A little slower on that side, and it showed up again. Now there's no raise opportunity for the Sweeting team, so if you loop one around, it's going to be buried.
Sue, I don't think I need more. I think I need the same. So it just came off at the end.
Now that's a hard part about ice rating too, is based on the speed you have to decide of the curl, and the last one was a little short, so really cut at the end. So Cheryl's basing her play, her broom, on that knowledge.
Now this is very similar to what we talked about earlier about Brad Jacobs in his game last night, able to totally bury around a stone in a similar position. This thing is going to cut if they can drag it by.
Go, 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 go!
And it'll rub and roll in and
Try.
to sit 2.
I needed more ice.
I guess she did need the extra ice, that's what she's saying.
Halfway down, they're yelling room, and you really be fooled. Once it breaks, you can't hold it. That was perfect if they get it by.
Well,
It was great brushing, and we've mentioned a couple of times, if you don't catch it early enough, the brushing cannot hold it. That's the one difference with these stones. The way they curl, you cannot make that huge difference at the end of the path.
Generally, we have about 5 feet of curl for the men's championships and maybe 4 feet of curl for the women's. And here you have no choice. You got both genders. And just fooled a little bit there with that big finish.
So facing a couple with her last.
Yep, yep, hard! Whoa, whoa! Whoa! Lean, 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 lean,
Stop
lean.
jerking.
Whoa, then, whoa!
Whoa, then, whoa, then. She said she's doing soft.
Nice.
Got to sit for her, and it does. On the edge of the 8-foot for the single.
9-2.
Val Sweeting has the lead going to the break.
The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by World Financial Group, creating a better tomorrow for families today. WFG.
Last run, Jeff Stoughton.
12, folks.
Needs to bend now just to catch the stone just thrown. Needs to bend and will just touch it. Northern Ontario will stun Manitoba Final stone. Right now, it's Northern Ontario sitting the single. Need to touch the red on the way by. Oh! It came up just in time. 3 on the board. There it goes. Northern Ontario are your Canadian men's curling champions. And we will see Brad Jacobs today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on TSN as he goes against John Morris, who's had a wonderful week. Bit of a bounce in his step for Morris. As you know, no longer playing with Kevin Martin out of Alberta, now skipping Jim Cotter. And that winner today, this afternoon, will fill one of those men's spots in Winnipeg and the roar of the rings. It is 4-3, Val Sweeting leading Cheryl Bernard. Bernard will have the last rock. She'll have the hammer when we come back.
The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by Scotty's Facial Tissue. Scotty's, the perfect touch. By M&M Meat Shops, frozen food at its best. And by Tim Hortons, always fresh, always great tasting coffee.
Cheryl Bernard, who represented Canada, of course, in Vancouver, picking up a silver medal. And yet, despite, Linda, the fact that she had been an Alberta champion, had gotten to the final of a Scotties, to some minds was a bit of a surprise winner of those trials.
Yeah, we had a lot of great teams, as we will again this time. So it wasn't the favorite going in, but definitely played so well. And we said the big shot maker, the big extra end shot maker throughout that whole process.
Welcome back to Kitchener on this busy first day, our opening weekend of the Season of Champions. Bernard on the ice against Val Sweeting as we play here in the 6th, and it is Bernard trailing 4-3. And Cheryl Bernard and her team from the Calgary and Glencoe curling clubs does have the last rock. They have the hammer playing the red stones.
Too much, I think. Yeah, I don't want to.
Should be all there. 3. Mine's good. It's good. Have to. Real. 3. Real tight 3. Can you finish it? No. I think we're in.
Lots of out rotation here in a real quick spot. They'd love this to drop short of the ring, so it cannot be removed.
Okay, that's fine. Good.
It will just catch the top of the 12. Let's check the numbers after 5.
We're a little surprised when you look at the scoreboard and you see that Sweeting's ahead, because the numbers certainly favor Cheryl Bernard, 74% overall. But when you look closely, yes, Valerie Sweeting has the advantage of the hit game. That's what she likes. And right now, it's those draws that are really causing Val Sweeting some trouble.
The numbers after 5 are brought to you by Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee.
Hard, 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 really hard. Hard, hard, hard.
Shannon Alexic.
Hard.
And the roll is there, and it pops out the wide side. There's that corner guard.
Good brush, guys.
This time they're coming in this direction. The corner guard's in a great spot, a little deeper.
Whoa. Little firm. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Let's see it close.
Dana Ferguson throwing the second stones
That's good.
and hits it right on the beak. Sits right there, top edge.
Nice throw. When you get out wide like that, sometimes you see people play with the stone, but that was a great arm extension right out to the room. Big weight, kept it straight. But here's Cheryl's chance to make use of that guard.
Hitting it dead on is a call that's changed a little bit. I think, Vic, that you used to try to roll buried, but it's so high in the rings and there's so much curl, it would just be a second guard for Cheryl Bernard's team to draw around. Now Bernard's team makes this perfect. That slash yellow raise is still available.
Close for line, yep. Think you gotta go.
Line's great. Line's great. Whoa, wait on me.
Room now. Line's great. Where are you?
Whoa.
Over there.
Whoa.
Girl.
It's real good.
Really
Sorry,
good.
I fault.
Atta girl.
Sips maybe a little too far. Sits second shot just behind the tee line.
I think it's just after the mop still.
So this is our conversation from 2 ends ago. When you don't have the hammer and start to play around the corner guard, your rock placement must be perfect. And this has been the struggle for the Sweeting team, that their draws are just a little bit off, and that's given Cheryl some chances.
Tapping 8.
This looks a little hot also. Has to come down in a hurry.
Girl. You're over here. Got lots of weight. Girl.
Rub, roll, but sitting 2 without last rock. Val Sweeting.
Very aggressive call here for Cheryl. They're going to ignore both the shot and second shot rock and try to hide another one. I think the thought process is the red one behind the tee line can easily be frozen to, so they're going to protect it by going top 8 here in behind the corner.
The Yellowstones could be doubled out at this stage, so Cheryl's thinking ahead. She's very willing to be patient and take her time setting up an extra score.
Lots.
T. Line's a send.
Lots.
Close. Yep. Yep.
Lots.
Lots.
Room. Lots.
T. T. Top 8.
Whoa.
Right to it. Yep.
T.
Yep. For line.
Lovely.
For line. Go, 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 go. Right to it. Right to it. Go, 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 go. Okay, whoa. That's good. It's a good shot. We're still 1-2.
Well, just down the road from Kitchener, as we would go east, is Guelph. And the Grey Cup playoffs begin tomorrow. The Alouettes will play the Tiger Cats at Guelph University. And then it's followed by the Lions taking on the Rough Riders in the Western semifinal. You can catch it all, of course, on TSN, which is the home of the 101st Grey Cup.
T-line. Are you to this line? No. 8.
They called out this one was
Two
a little
down.
deep.
6, 7. 8 to go. Yeah,
Yep.
double.
Yep. Hard.
Hard. Go. Hard. Nice shot.
I really did slow down. That's the little thing I've noticed with this team. They struggle a bit with that communication. As soon as the line call is made, they want to brush. Rather than taking that moment to say the depth, I thought that one was played much better as far as the information exchange.
It's in a good spot, but there could be a perfect double right through that red opening there. It's possible to keep all 3 reds in play here if she hits it perfect.
Hard.
Susan O'Connor, 1, 2, not quite. She'll just push
That's a good
her
shot, Sue.
red stone back edge of the 12, and right now it appears
Shoot, just a little thinner.
still looks like it is Sweeting sitting the 1 on the tee line.
Unlucky.
Over curled a hair and hit too much of this yellow, which redirected onto the red.
And it's that yellow sitting on the tee line, which is the shot rock. Very close for second shot.
Yeah, they can. Oh. Let's go open side.
Yeah, I like that. I was gonna say
I
they
like
can't
that.
get at ours right now. I don't think, can they? I guess they could slash
Well,
the yellow.
They can do this, but this jams.
Well then, yeah, and that's
Well, it might come off. But then she has probably a good chunk of this, right?
Yeah.
There'll be a double.
I like going over.
Yeah.
It's a good point here. The yellow onto the red is pretty easy shot, but then the second yellow right here will go back onto this one and stay. So they're not too worried about it if you're the Sweeting team. So they're just going to come over to the opposite side and try to get one over in this type of area.
You notice that it wasn't Joanne that came down the ice, even though she is the third in throwing the stone. It is Dana, who is the vice skip, throwing second stone. So she comes down the ice for the chat.
Not moving yet.
So Joanne just accepts what she's asked for.
There goes. Like to go. Mine's fine. You can go. Just for weight.
Sounds familiar.
You gotta be back here. Okay.
A little similarity in the booth, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit. I just accept it.
It's only day one, draw one.
Yeah.
You've already accepted.
So there's a lot to accept over the next few months.
Okay.
Low risk end for Cheryl. This is what you want. This is the way the strategy is supposed to play out if you're the team with hammer. Throw the corner guard up, keep the front open, try to score some points off to the side. If you get into trouble, off to the side, the front is open for your last one.
Can you touch that shot stone enough here to possibly sit two, or is this about just corner freezing?
I think just stay in front of it, Vic. I don't think you can get around and get that. Just try to stay in front of it.
It's too late. Yep, bounce it. Yep. At least move it. Yep, go.
Information exchange here said it was heavy, so they're going to try and tap that yellow one.
So they are the shot stone now. There is a little backing.
Good call.
Okay, Sue.
Well, the shot stone is the yellow on the right, but you see now the red is second shot. And also the yellow one that was tapped back doesn't count a red at the top. So still some opportunities for Cheryl.
You're right, Val Sweeting, shot stone.
We don't want a dead jam up
I accept that.
there. Because then maybe we shot over that. Yeah. But if we freeze, they will probably still have a double because they can hit the back of that, and then we got a lonely one in here.
Let's pick it then.
Can you even get to nose with that one in the way? Oh, it'll curl here. I don't think we would.
But I mean, like, we don't want to get it to nose.
No, we
That's
don't
what
want
I'm saying.
to. No. I guess if we jam it and roll here.
Okay. Kind of wait firm?
Yeah. Cheryl threw that double pretty good and it curled up, so.
I agree.
No,
we're
just
trying
trying
to pick it out. Oh.
Because if we freeze, she has a double on our shooter. We're shot on this side.
Okay.
Even if we jam it and leave our shooter there.
Okay. Okay, Val, you got this. You got this, Val.
So skip stones to come here in the sixth. Val Sweeting with a 4-3 lead. Bernard does have last drop. Hold it for her. Oh, and did well just to catch it corner.
Nice shot. It curls up there.
Nice shot.
Good sweep.
Nice shot.
It's an interesting situation here because if you go like there for Cheryl and then Val comes down and eliminates both rocks, then Cheryl is going to have this shot if she wants to tap that way and score 2 points. I thought they were going to call a freeze there for a second.
She might leave me high enough for a double, so.
There's the comment, hit it dead on.
Okay.
Hoping Val Sweeting hits it dead on, and then there might be a across the sheet double for as many as 3, which is better than my theory.
Yeah, so you need the exchange, and that means the first one has to be right on the nose.
Normal? No, close, no. Close, yep. Hard.
Looking live as well at the game between Mark Keane and Greg Balsden.
Sorry, guys.
And it is Keane that appears to be sitting the shot stone tee line edge of the button. He's down 6-4. Final stone coming here in 7 after a blank in 6.
Yes! Hard, guys! Close!
Keane and his team from the Annandale Golf and Curling Club in Ajax, Ontario. Tim Marsh, Pat Jansen, Travis Fansett.
Hard! Well, let's die.
One red it is. Ballston from Elgin, Ontario. Lead 6-5. Must win for both those teams. All the games out here are must wins to remain alive.
Change of turn. I don't think Val liked the way that last one ran when they played this spot. So he's taking the straighter turn.
Just hit and fought.
And we have our first final. And Brad Gushue keeps himself alive, the 2006 gold medalist in Torino. Gushue is a winner. Make the final 11-4 over Jake Hicks and his team from Glencoe and District Curling Club in Glencoe, Ontario. So Gushue will move on, and now he awaits the winner of the game between Keane and Ballston.
Get it out the other way.
Yeah, they didn't want to hit it dead on. They were trying to roll towards the center line, but that's just as good. There's definitely a slash for two that we talked about if they want to take it on. It's a risky shot again.
What was that?
9-2. It's pretty close.
Oh.
The way it ran, it looked like it had lots of weight. But, pretty close. It just really didn't do anything.
Well, I expected it to be straighter there, but
It's
I
like
thought
7/8 to 3/4.
Thanks, Penny. Okay,
The end's going so hard here. I'm thinking this doesn't go quite as crazy.
I agree.
So how's that?
Okay.
Great comment. That's how you read ice. If you don't know the spot, if you haven't seen a rock, you have to filter in the information that you do have, and the in-turn curls so hard, they're assuming this is going to run a little bit straighter.
So the second for the Val Sweeting team did play that spot. That's how that rock got there. She played a hit in that spot, but don't forget she's a left-hander.
Right.
So it's going to run a little different, so you take in all the information you can to make a good choice.
Anything high side is a chance for two here. Is very makeable if they can pick the right broom.
You said earlier, Linda, that sometimes these outside shots can be a little more tricky.
You have to get out there to the broom, and then you have to throw it very cleanly.
Final stone here in 6, trailing by 1. Close, angle it back, and we'll give up a steal of 1.
1 yellow. Try, Cheryl.
Val Sweeting making it hard
Take on the rock.
on Canada's Olympic rep in Vancouver. Two spots, of course, remain open in the field for Winnipeg. Well, one of those will be filled tonight at 7 Eastern Time. Kelly Scott, Canadian and world champion, will play Renee Sonnenberg. We'll have it for you at 7 Eastern Time. The winner here will move on to Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, I guess, and still have a chance, but we're down to that stage of this event. If you're hoping to be in Winnipeg and possibly represent the country, you need to win all these games on the ice. We just saw, for example, that Higgs out of Glencoe was just eliminated, and Brad Gushue kept himself alive. Sweeting picks up the steal of 1. So she now leads it 5-3 over Cheryl Bernard. Bernard once again does have the last rock, playing the red stones here in 7.
Line's good.
So that's twice that Cheryl's tried a big shot for a big reward and couldn't make it. I think that throw wasn't as clean as she would have liked. We talked about the fact that she was following down a left-hander. And I thought Dana threw it beautifully, and I'm not sure about Cheryl's throw.
Might have popped it out a little bit, and you can't do that in a straight spot, but I think it was a little straighter than she even expected. And we'll have to keep an eye on that spot. There's not much movement there. That's a big steal, 6th end. really impressed with this young team of Val Sweetings. They've been forced to make some good shots also, and one miss around those corner guards, and they could have given up a lot of points, and they just keep putting pressure on the veterans.
Just back 8. Hard. 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 Go, 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 go. Okay.
Not very much weight on that, so the tap doesn't move the yellow ones, and the roll isn't very far.
Two options here. You'd like to hit the one in the rings because that could go in the scoreboard, but the danger rock here, in my opinion, is that corner guard. Cheryl Bernard's going to do exactly what she's done every time she's had hammers, try to get around those corners and try to set up a mistake.
Yes! Hard! Hard, really hard. Hard all the way. Hard, yes, hard. Real hard. Hard.
Uh-oh.
Hard, hard, hard. Hard.
About the worst thing that could happen, you spill it behind their own corner.
Just a little bit. Sits at the back edge. Maybe available on the wide side, but as with Bernard down by 2, it's setting up here, and she does have that corner to work with.
It's easy up here, but been a lot of shots over curl in that spot, Linda, with that turn, and obviously missed wide with the other turn.
We talk about releases, and some teams, I mentioned Rachel Holman earlier, actually practice the out turn to throw with an in-out release, which actually delays the curl, and I think that's a huge advantage when you get to that kind of spot. You can really manage the curl.
Not curling.
It'll curl. It's T for sure. Back 8. Back 8.
Looks like it's wide open by a mile, but watch it finish here.
Sliding. Okay.
And just that much too deep as it slides back at the tee line.
How much? Do you have any? Yeah. Peel.
Do you guys like playing board at it? Okay.
I like the peel.
Yes! Hard.
Dana Ferguson.
Good. Hard.
Right to it.
And gets rid of that corner to open things up.
Shot.
Oh, right here.
Okay. Air on short.
Yeah.
So Val opened it up, hoping she'd have a chance to make a double at some stage. Cheryl's going to try and manipulate it so the double now is complicated by a third stone and see if she can get a mistake. But it's not easy to bring a rock in this fast and still get your deuce.
No, for sure. You could set up a triple here because those two are staggered. Don't want to be too deep here.
So you'd still play the corner to guard, but play it out in front, Linda? Is that what you're saying?
You definitely could leave it out in front and not bring it in.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotta go.
It's really early.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Hard. Gotta go. Gotta go. Hard, guys. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Good. That's good.
A little higher than
Sweet,
she had
Shan.
actually indicated, so it stops top edge of the 12.
Okay.
Peel. If it curls up to nose, you get all 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because if you do get all 3, it's not an easy shot, but if you do make all 3, your rock's virtually in the rings. It's not really a good guard for Cheryl either.
Whoa.
Close. Whoa! No, off. Lots of it.
And doesn't quite get to the nose.
That is the one weight that really takes the curl out of the equation, and that's the big weight, the peel weight. So maybe just a little less ice.
Freeze it. Okay.
Susan O'Connor, as we mentioned, the only remaining member of the
Got room right
team
now,
from
but lunch would be
Vancouver.
good. Yeah, keep rooms down. Yep. Oh, wait only. Oh, T. No then. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no. Higher's better. Higher's better. Yep. Little bit. Nah, that's a good shot.
Good way. It was
Really
times
close,
tricky,
right?
hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably won't have many chances at this, so
No.
time to make the double.
Yeah, I like this call, and let Cheryl go play to the middle.
Oh dear.
Really hard.
This could be through the uprights.
Oh my gosh.
She'll be lucky not to take her own out, actually. Those are really frustrating. The foot's not under the right spot, under the balance point when you go to kick, and out the foot goes.
Hey, just this, Sue.
Okay.
What kind of weight do you like? Control?
Even can we throw easy?
Easy?
Make sure I stick around. No, nothing. Nothing.
Hard on yellow.
Hard, Cheryl.
Okay, Sue.
Boy, and with
That's
that
good.
miss,
Stop her.
now sitting 3, Bernard. Must win for both Jean-Michel Menard, the Canadian champion of 2006, Manitoba champion Rob Fowler. And Fowler with a chance here to get 3. Big scrub here. Samagalski and Taylor. Well done to hold it and take it out past their own stone at the back of the 8. And that is 3 for Fowler to
Double.
retake the lead.
Got this.
Yep. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Skip Stones, Val Sweeting.
Hard. Hard on the yellow. We don't want to be behind it.
And we'll get rid of 2.
Shot, Val.
Shot, buddy. Good sweep.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, because I got to
Freeze to that.
It's a little better.
Nice throw, big weight, made sure she got them both rolling.
Good call.
Another good young team like the Holman team that can all throw it hard, and that's quite a weapon nowadays.
I knew I always asked for more, but I was like, oh, I can make sure.
Yeah, like I
You know, we talked about it last year, and we'll
close.
talk about it more as we
Whatever over curls.
work our
Sue,
way
watch
through
that.
this weekend. And then in Winnipeg, for some teams, for some skips in particular, this may be their last call. We're starting to see a bit of a changing of the guard, as it were, in both men's and
Yeah, I
women's
think she was
games.
just a bit up.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
That's a great point, Vic, because one thing you cannot do in any sport is go and play because of desperation. So the fact that it is your last kick, potentially for someone like Cheryl, obviously Val has a young team and will have more opportunities, but you can't think about it. You have to block all of that out of your mind and just go perform your game.
Yep.
This is one of those tricky ends because Cheryl would love to be drawing in this situation, but finding a spot for the second rock isn't easy.
Hard. Really hard. Hard. Roll. Whoa.
Doing their best just to hold it and not lose it. And now that little catcher.
Okay.
Bang, right there. To sit 2.
Yeah, crafty.
Nice call. Big difference. Yeah. Good job.
Another brilliant call by Susan, just to
That
take
was
the
probably
risk
easy.
of having to actually roll out, but roll it right over to that yellow one. This could make a difference.
I'll throw mine. You throw yours.
That works.
Yeah, pretty easy.
10-5, yeah.
But big difference. Hey, like.
Yeah,
from,
totally.
I know. Although my
You might have. Do you think you were hair further out? Right, like I was coming to almost center with mine.
Yeah. And my returns okay a little bit more because I don't ever, I'm probably.
normal.
Are you looking to angle this back and try to make the double, or is it just make one goal right here?
I think she's going to give it a try, but because Susan swept that to the perfect spot, They might get a jam out of this.
You really have to make a choice. The other option is to try and roll over to that side and see if you can get a mistake from your opponent.
I think that is what they're trying, Linda. Roll your way there, just on top.
No, hard roll again. Okay, good. Good shot. Sweet.
Well, control. Okay. You okay? Be a little straighter here.
Maybe we'll just confirm. Straight.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Val Sweeting just checking in with Joanne Courtney. And are you okay?
I think she was trying to overthrow it, and if I could gather from that conversation, the suggestion was maybe just play the normal hit, because it's probably with her, she's got a very low throw. She probably can throw it straight enough even with normal weight to make the shot. When she tried to overkick, that was the problem.
Here's this little bit straighter spot here.
No. No. Clean.
Nicey.
Yep.
Chance for two.
Yes!
Chance to tie. Here it goes. Alexic and Olsen Johns don't touch their own. Cheryl Bernard picks up two. And she can thank the front two. Cheryl Bernard picks up 2 key points to tie in that the 7th and made by 2 key shots.
Yeah, she's always been a great hitter, but what I liked here was the weight choice. Kept it soft enough because you have to hang around. And then Susan O'Connor called off in the last second, rolled it on top of that yellow.
And what you have to remember when you're throwing these, this is a totally different path. And this one you know is a little straighter. And again, that nice manageable weight. Brushers held it, just got it by.
The key shot is brought to you by Scotty's Tissue, the perfect touch of design and softness. Welcome back to Kitchener. The Kitchener Memorial Auditorium opened in May of 1951. They hosted the 1962 Brier here, won by Ernie Richardson over Heck Gervais. And of course, 1986 the Brier was held here. That was my first Brier. The big winner that year was Ed Lukowich, wasn't he, Russ?
Yeah, whatever.
Not so Mr. IQ now, are you? Yeah, Ed beat Glenn and Russ that year.
Okay.
Kent Carstairs and Timmy Belcourt.
That's right. That's right.
Have to go
Exactly.
into it.
Goodness gracious, the trap opens and look falls out.
That's right.
5-5 as we go to the 8th, and it is Val Sweeting that does have the last rock, playing the Yellowstones here in 8.
We talk about key shots. Well, for the leads, this is the kind of shot that Val Sweeting needs, and that's the first 2 are in the rings. That means you can hit, but you cannot roll out, or you can lose all the advantage. Just like that.
Really straight there.
I like them blanking.
That was 9.
Okay, let's go.
Interesting. We can hear the conversation at the other end. Now you start to think about this is a 10-end game. We're playing 8. You could peel the corner. That might tempt your opposition to blank the end. And then if you could possibly, if you're Cheryl Bernard, force your opponent to 1 and 9, you get the hammer coming home. That was the little comment from Susan O'Connor.
Yeah, great point.
We don't
you
leave
can play
guys.
it either way. You could try to steal one here, would be even better. But yeah, do you allow them to blank here? That's the question.
Well, when does that decision, or when is that decision made? So they've got one now, top of the 8-foot. I'm talking about Bernard, of course. They throw up a nice guard here. When do you, if you're Bernard, say, all right, let's try and let them blank? When does that decision made?
Well, sometimes it's before the end starts. You think about your positioning of the stones, and if you bring your rocks in, allow them to hit, there's that possibility. But definitely Cheryl has it in her mind. It's just I don't think Susan O'Connor's on the same page.
That's true.
There's a little opening there, and with the crow we have, you can actually get through these and tap rocks around. Again, must save the shooter.
Yeah. Little hot. Hard. Hard. Hard.
here.
Hard! Hard, you got it!
Got to get through this hole. If they got it, get it through. They don't.
Might hang in the corner, though.
A great plan B. Nice weight call to have that opportunity.
Yeah, great point, Linda. That shot was made because of the weight call from the skip before it was even thrown. Because it's soft enough, they can fracture on the guard and good things can happen.
Laurie Olsen-Johns as we play second stones here in this eighth.
Whoa, 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 Cheryl. Yep. Whoa, whoa. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Really nice. Atta girl.
But you can see what this has done. Yes, it's nice. Cheryl Bernard makes a good shot, sits 2, but now the guards are moved over, and there's a chance to hit and roll either direction if you're Val Sweeting and start to set up your deuce.
Yeah, wrecking on that guard has opened it up, which is what Val wants. And even end, she'd love to at least either blank or score here. And now it's a little bit easier.
She heard the brusher say a little hot, a little heavy out of the hand. Dana Ferguson. Oh, she's got the roll here, trying to get it, drag it over. And almost perfectly underneath cover.
Good shot.
It's a really curl here for Susan. I'd be shocked if she misses this wide.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Shannon, yeah. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
That's a good shot.
Real nice.
In as much as what? They're just spread out?
And well, just be able to stay that way at the hack, that wouldn't have looked very inviting. You could probably see a third of that rock, so to be able to hit it and stay is the key thing. At this point in time, Cheryl's forcing Val to a single.
Oh, yeah. A couple inches.
Would have been nice to roll a little less, though, Vic, you're right.
Is it normal here?
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
Control.
Another part of all the planning that goes on at this stage, Vic, is you have to remember we're looking at a Sweeting team that has struggled with their draw game. Last end, Joanne fell and missed a hit, but most of the shots that have been missed have been draws, so Cheryl might want to be planning to make them play some draws and see if she can get some mistakes.
Hard. 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 Whoa. Yeah, right over, right over.
Well, we saw a few minutes ago Rob Fowler score 3 with last rock. Now he is sitting 3 without last, so this is a big draw coming up here by Jean-Michel Menard. 2 stones are sitting at the top of the 8. Shot rock is at the back edge of the 4 from our vantage point.
Go, 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 go.
Out of the Etchemin Curling Club, Philippe Menard, Eric Sylvain, Martin Crette, and Jean-Michel Menard. And there's the draw for the single. Rob Fowler leads at 5-4. He'll have the last rock coming home. Must win for everybody here on the ice in Kitchener.
That was not a great throw. Joanne's very low, and occasionally she just sort of drops her hand off, and as she's doing it, she gives it a little inward motion, and that one was going right out of her hand.
I think so, yeah.
Well, sometimes you see an extension, and it's very clear what the hand has done, but Joanne's very low, a little side saddle, and then the hand just comes off, and there's the inward motion upon release. She doesn't have that arm extension that goes out to the broom. And if you haven't played with her, you have to really watch carefully to see what the hand has done.
You might get away with that on a straighter sheet, but with this much finish, they're gone.
Sue just gave her the information.
Oh, this side's like a 14 and a half?
Yes, yeah.
Skip stones to come here in the 8th of a 5-5 tie.
So the unfortunate part for Val is she does give Cheryl this chance to bury behind that guard.
Top it. Go now. Yep. For line. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Hard. Hard.
Oh, you got it.
Hard. Hard. Keep it going. Yep. 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 Hard.
Great weight.
Great sweep.
Are able to drag it to the top of the 4 to sit 2 without last
Over
row.
half.
Yeah, I think so. Roll under.
I think board's quite enough. Control.
Checking in on the game between Mark Keane from Ajax, Ontario, Greg Balsden from Elgin, Ontario. Balsden up 7-5. Balsden attempted a double, missed it, lost the shooter, and so now this is an open draw for 2 for Keane out of Annandale Golf and Curling Club.
11.
Travis Fansett out to join Pat Jansen and Tim March. And there's the 2, and they're even at 7. Balsden will have the last rock coming home in 10.
It's a tricky little spot for Val here. It's definitely the straighter side, but I think if it creeps up under that center line, it might start to curl.
Whoa.
Lots of weight.
She's trying to play it softly too to save the shooter because you don't see very much of this rock.
Nothing.
Curl up.
Roll.
10.
Let's take a look at the player numbers, and in particular the skips.
Yeah, both of them have good numbers when we talk about 79% and 80%, but both have had those big misses. Cheryl has taken 2 big chances and missed them both, and that's her hit game. I think in her draw game, we do see advantage Cheryl Bernard.
Player comparisons are brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Yeah, all these teams would love a Capital One card and a ticket to Winnipeg in their wallet. It's quite the battle here. And then you wonder again about the pressure of the moment and how it affects teams.
Pretty close to the same.
Room still.
So far, have you seen anything like that in this Sweeting team, Linda?
No, I haven't, and it's funny because sometimes this triple knockout format, Vic, still feels like a bonspiel, and it isn't really till you get to this stage that you start to feel like it's now a playoff. It's now a chance to go to the Olympic trials, and that's when you see some mistakes. So far, they've been cool.
Yeah, great sweep. Good job.
Fraction too much
Well,
ice,
maybe the
but it's
less you
still
take,
pretty
the
good.
less. We gotta go by the guard by 4 feet. Oh, man.
Sometimes you actually plan this where you put the doubt in the person's mind by having it half open. Do I draw? Do I hit? What kind of weight do I play if I hit?
Like 10, 5, 11 again.
Now, because of those guards and where they are, because of the curl in the ice, is this a tough shot for Sweeting?
They're
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
is.
tight to
It
that
really
top
is.
one, though.
Yeah, there's the comment right there, Vic. You're right.
Well, hers didn't break.
The actual
Where's
curvature to make a perfect draw would be something like that. So you have to be very careful. You have to get by the inside of that one and the outside of that one. So there's not a big port there.
Just throw less weight. Okay.
She wanted to draw, you could tell, and she made some nice draws so far in this game.
I think she's thinking tap, but now the way the broom has gone down, it's going to be a hit with just less weight than the last one. This is so easy to roll out on this kind of hit.
She just did in this spot, didn't she? With a little more weight. You don't want to bring the weight down too much and catch that center line, so it'll start to curl. Rolling out, it's a steal of 1. You do not want to let them steal 2.
Final stone here in the 8th and facing a couple in a 5-5 tie.
No, nothing.
Not a brush, not a lick yet from
Curl.
Pederney or Courtney. Hoping this will come up.
Hard, Dina. Hard.
Gonna catch enough. Push it enough. Push it enough. No, it's going to hang around. It floated all the way down. And what some people talked about, blanking. Results now in Bernard stealing 2. Seven, 5, Bernard. As you can see, the auditorium is the home of the Kitchener Rangers of the Ontario Hockey League. They're currently on a 6-game road trip. Their next home game will be next Friday when Owen Sound comes to Kitchener. This week it's the home of the Road to the Roar. And it's a curious thing. Some things still surprise you. That end, the way it started off when we talked about a blank, and you heard Susan O'Connor say, I think I'd like them to blank, and it ends up in a steal of 2 for Bernard.
Yeah, now that was the first time, I think Russ and I agree on this one, where we really saw Val Sweeting get caught and not look like she was as cool as she has been. That was an in-between weight. And I think you have to practice those ones where the rock is partly hidden and you throw your weight that will save the shot. She threw that little bit extra weight. I think she was doubting the ice, maybe it was a little wide. Just was never set, and that could be the experience.
Yeah, we've all done it. You know, the last thing she wanted to do was reckon the guard and give up 2. So I think she threw it hard enough to miss the guard, but missed everything. And she'd love to have that one back. It was straight side. I was worried about for her on the center line if it curled, and that's the shot that seems to be missed this week, is that in between. And you're absolutely correct, Linda. You throw a board or a hack weight there as opposed to a board weight, and it would make that shot a lot easier.
All these games, as mentioned, are sudden death at this stage. And so coming up tonight, Kelly Scott will play Renee Sonnenberg, with the winner of that game getting one of the 2 available spots in Winnipeg. The winner of this one will then wait till tomorrow afternoon and then play the loser of Scott Sonnenberg for spot number 2.
Nice shot.
Every game at this point, when you're on that C side, as they say, when you've lost your 2 games, every game is sudden death.
And Russ talked about it from the beginning. On top of the experience factor we've mentioned, somehow when you get into that C event, and I mentioned they play that a lot in Bondsville, that triple knockout format, if you start to get on a roll, you don't think about too much except winning, 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 playing well. And that seems to just get that roll going even better.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I don't know how many times the A team would then get an entire day off in a Bonspiel event. Will go down and lose to a C team who's lost 2 games in the event. Because, as you say, the ice could change a little bit, and the C teams are the ones that are out there grinding it out, and the A team's at home resting.
Whoa. Whoa. Sweet. Same thing.
Here's an example of what you said. John Morris, for example, he's gone through so far undefeated, and he'll play Brad Jacobs. 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on TSN, and the winner of that game will pick up one of the available spots in Winnipeg. Uh-oh. Even the most experienced in Orioles and Johns, who's been to 2 Scotties representing Alberta with Kathy
high.
King.
I don't know. Like, they'll probably be able to
maybe
get
overthrow
around
a stone.
You want to go that way then? Okay.
Nice chance here now. 2 guards.
Pressure can be cruel, huh? Sometimes you just...
Just top 12. Okay, you got room. Line. Okay, you sure? Yeah, you gotta finish it as much as you can.
It's going out.
Yeah.
T-line.
Yeah, you gotta get back there.
Finish it.
Rob Fowler out of Brandon, Manitoba, with a 5-4 lead. And you can see the 2 red stones belonging to Jean-Michel Menard in the 12-foot. And so Fowler will have this draw
Sorry.
to catch the 8-foot for the win and to advance. Steve Laycock from Saskatoon will be his next opponent, or the opponent of the winner of this game. And the Brushers have backed off this. Artancret is there. It'll need to stop. Oh, goodness. It'll need to stop, and it just does. At the back edge of the 8 for the single point, the handshakes. And the team from Brandon. Derek Semagalski, Brendan Taylor, Alan Lyburn, and Rob Fowler will move on and take one more step. And they will face another must-win game, this time against Steve Laycock.
Mine's okay.
Mine's good.
Room. Whoa.
8, 5, 7.
There it goes.
Yeah, you got to get it back.
I'm just having a little bit of trouble here. It is curling, but maybe a little bit less than before. And so now they're having to bring them deep to try and get them to bury.
Hard. Good. 14-3.
Good throw. Susan, I only see a small half here.
I mean, it curls really hard here. You could just play either. Whatever you think. Throw a 9.
One or the other. You have to make some noise. You can't miss wide with a 2-point lead.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. Right.
You have to make a decision pretty fast to make sure you don't just feather something.
It's all right.
Good, Sue.
Who's the guard over? Takes out one of her own.
That's not bad. Double's not there now. It's all right.
Rearrange the ones in the house, and that was the comment, that the one in front of the other double has gone away.
Mine's good.
Similar.
6. Mine's good.
Looking for the freeze.
Lead only right now. 6.
Easy.
Yep. Yeah, line a bit.
We're tapping.
Well,
Easy.
small. Well, we're tapping.
Really small. Curl.
Nice. 14-2. Good shot.
3/3 back there, you think?
This way. I wonder if you can even. No, it's over the top. Or you just.
It was setting second and third shot.
Whatever you think. I mean, it keeps theirs bunched together, right?
Spill this. I think play this one. There should be good.
Are you wanting to roll away or?
Yeah, I don't think it does us any good there.
It's so
9.
tempting to try that, but it's a difficult shot. You really don't want to remove your own rock, so this makes a lot more sense. Come down here, tap out this yellow one, and then there's a situation here where Val Sweeting is going to have to go after this red one at some point, and that will group the 2 yellow rocks together, and then there will be a double on Cheryl's last one. Very well thought out, and they're so patient, this team. There's only 2 shots left for Cheryl Bernard's team, and they're going to stay away from that obvious second shot rock.
A big 2, that steal of 2 last, and gives them this little bit of luxury too of planning this out and trying to limit the damage now.
Not a brush to it as this floats away on her and just touches it. Wow.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Had a little bit trouble on those wide spots. Seems to be floating them out.
And the straight side again. And,
I should have said something because I thought it was generous ice.
there's the comment from Susan. To be perfectly honest, I think the curlers of today they're spoiled in a lot of ways. The ice is perfect, and when they do get a few little tricks, and it's just a little bit straighter there. Sometimes you just put the broom down, don't think about it. But
time has been called
Yeah, I think you gotta set shot.
by Val Sweeting and her team.
So do you like?
Way though.
whichever way. If we nose and bring this to here, roll, like, we almost want to bring this one.
Yeah.
But then there's a double on the shooter.
As long as we get 2, right? That's our goal.
Yeah.
So that brings their coach,
This way
both
and flop
coaches
to
coming to
there.
the floor here.
And that sits there, there's no double, but she could roll under.
Yeah, you leave her the under. We just don't want to overlap these, right?
Right.
Yeah, like this side.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a hair on this side.
Yeah.
Like, play it safe, because we don't want
play the
to
nose,
double
yeah.
them. I like this turn.
Okay. Kind of wait.
Look, soften a little.
Okay.
So what's her decision here?
They decided to make a play on that yellow-red combination. They didn't feel that they could wait because there's a chance it could get guarded and they wouldn't have a good chance to get at it. So now the question is the weight.
And where do you roll? You don't want to leave it here and set up a double because the red one's going to be gone. So they're either going to try to roll over this way or maybe roll over this way.
This is definitely a straight spot.
Take the back leg.
We're there first.
Oh, is there a triple?
Oh, goodness. Right now, sitting the 3.
Goes in there, but
Yeah, I think it does, but
that's
whatever.
okay.
This will curl, Sue. Okay. That should be good. Touch more.
Okay.
Might be there. It's not a perfect angle for the triple, but Cheryl can definitely hit all 3. The middle rock might jam.
I think she's very happy she has a
Yeah.
chance for a double.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
Does some of this, to your mind, Linda, this sort of, I'll call it a letdown by the Bernard team, does that come after scoring that deuce? Do you just sort of mentally let down and
Maybe
some
a
of the
little bit,
mistakes?
and I think it's the fact that your opposition made a mistake. Sometimes you're not quite as focused anymore.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Whoa! Yeah! Yeah! Whoa, 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 whoa!
1, 2, yeah, she'll jam 1, but she'll spill a couple. So it opens the door still for Sweeting to
It's a good shot.
get her deuce.
Good shot and good lead. Sorry, on my first one. Sorry about my back up and straight. Thanks. Good sweep. Need full 8.
Okay. Same speed.
So the difficulty on this one is just the placement of that red stone at center line. Now Val has to draw to the side a little bit, and this is where you try to do your mapping of the ice. Where is it straight? Where will it curl? Where will I hang on in the 8-foot for the second point?
Yeah, and hang on's the key word. They're not taking a ton of ice here. It'll definitely curl past the red center guard.
Okay, 2. Hey, mine's fine. Starting to really curl now. Yeah, 14-2.
Final stone
6.
looking for a
That's
couple
good.
to tie.
Oh.
Oh boy, that stone at the top. Have a look. Maybe just single.
Pretty close.
Obviously
measure.
could have taken a lot more ice there, Vic.
Yeah.
I think it may just be the single.
Close.
They're going to have a measure.
So they're going to
Take
call
this one
out
out, yeah. And this one, you agree is.
the umpire.
Great job. I think it's awesome.
Umpire Bill O'Rourke,
Anyway, that's
longtime official with the Ontario Curling Association. And we've seen Bill many times at
Sure, absolutely.
our Skins games. And we're looking forward to going
We've lost every measure this week.
to our new home for our Skins game. This year will be played in Banff. Oh, by that much. What a break. That's a huge break.
Got it all the way.
For Val Sweeting, who will pick up the 2 and 9 to tie. Cheryl Bernard will have the last rock coming home. Now quickly over to sheet A, and that stone, the shot stone, was just a lovely hit and roll by Mark Keane out of Annandale. An Ajax final rock on the way by Greg Balsden and his team from the Looney Sports Club in Elgin, Ontario. And out it goes for 2 more as he picked it out. Balsden will win it. He stays alive, make the final 9-7. Balsden now advances, and he'll play Brad Gushue this afternoon.
It's now time for today's secret word. The secret word is quiche. Go to finaln.ca and enter this word for your chance to win.
Welcome back. It's one lonely sheet still in play. And it's in the middle of it all here at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. The winner will move on. The loser will be eliminated from qualifying for Winnipeg. It's a 7-7 tie, and it's Cheryl Bernard who does have the last rock. She has the hammer playing the redstone. Center line guard went up. Bernard went deep to the back edge of the 8-foot, and now another centerline guard put up by Val Sweeting.
A deep rock of Cheryl Bernard's could really hurt the team here, but it's not going to help them back 8. It allows Sweeting to get in there first if this one isn't made right. A lot of pressure on the second draw here.
Line only. Yeah, a little. Yeah,
This is the contrast to what we were talking about earlier. Cheryl does not play any tick shots, any soft peels on those front rocks. Tries to secure the position in the house, and that means Shannon has to get it top 4, and it will not go there.
Hard. Go, 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 go. Okay, Sean.
And deep again.
She was a hairless.
In a 7-7 tie, here's the game story so far.
Oh, really interesting in 4 where Cheryl Bernard had a chance for 4, only ends up getting 1 on a double attempt. And we have big mistake in 8. Val Sweeting misses the hit against 2, and that's the big steal of 2 and 8.
The game story is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops, frozen food at its best.
We know it'll curl. We know this is a great chance to steal. It's all now about getting the weight so you can get a top 4 stone.
14.
Yeah.
Boy, they'd love to have those. All 3 of those rocks are in the exact wrong spot. Really good opportunity here. A double peel. The shooter will roll out, and there'll be nothing in the way for the entire end if this could be made.
Laurie Olsen-Johns.
Whoa. Close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Needs to curl.
That's good.
We'll get
Good
rid of
throw.
1.
How'd it go?
Try to make it good again. Okay.
This is where you have to make a pretty big decision. If a team has been struggling with draws, calling the second guard can be a little risky because we saw that double peel almost made. So it's a lot of pressure on Dana to get this rock in the right spot, which is really just over the hog line.
Luckily, the ice surface, Jamie Barraza and team have done a wonderful job, because sometimes you want to just get this over the hog, and it's slowing down a little bit, 8th, 9th, 10th end in the middle, and you can hog these things.
Over and off.
Okay.
The option would be to come in top 4 right away, leave the peel or the run back.
There's going to be a double here too. It's going to angle enough that they could all go.
Nice. I know.
Across the top.
Oh, I just started a fly.
she's going to stuff this one and leave it and the shooter in front.
That's a gift for the Sweeting team. That Yellowstone that was left by Lori's jam is in a great spot.
They look puzzled there. It wasn't brushed early, so she couldn't have been too far off the broom, and it just curled.
What's interesting about that guard out in front, and we talked about the mistake that Val Sweeting made in the 8th end trying to tap a rock out. It was buried in about that spot, just over center. It'll run a while and then it'll curl, and it's a little tricky. If you can get in there first, the tap, even if this rock is a little bit exposed, is tough.
No, not yet.
Wait if you can.
Not yet.
You can go.
You gotta be off for the break. Whoa. Now you can go.
Yeah, finish.
Hard.
Hard.
Hard. Hard.
Hard.
Yeah, hard.
Go, go, go.
Joanne
Yeah,
Courtney.
Hard.
Hard. Go, 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 go.
Good sweep. That's good.
She
15-4.
tucks maybe half a stone behind to sit 2 without.
Don't have much of this, do you?
I like it.
That red's not much of a guard is all, but
Yeah, I just don't know how you get to the yellow. Do you have all of it?
What do you mean?
ripping I was just thinking rip the middle one.
Cheryl's trying to
straight
move
peel on
2
that one.
stones. Susan's
Whatever
thinking
you think.
single
I can take
peel.
one go at this if you want.
Well, you can't make the double on the yellow, so
No,
just straight
no.
peel.
You guys okay with this?
Yeah, I like it.
It's simpler, the 2 shots. I liked Susan's theory that the red one's really not hurting us, so why make it complicated by trying to make the double? The one that could hurt them is this one right here in the middle.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard. Clean. Clean. Good throws, Sue. Atta girl.
At some point she's got to bump that, right?
I would think so. She went for a while. Bump her, she mean? Yeah. She'll be.
Two. Line's
Line's a little tight. Go
good.
early.
Don't have. No, line's good. 3. Whoa, we
Keep it
just
out
got
there.
2.
Just
Whoa.
2.
Whoa.
Just
Whoa.
2.
Line's
Oh.
tight.
Off.
Like, just pass this one. Yep. Yep. Yep.
It's going to over curl, and as we get off it here.
Shoot.
Pressures never seemed to be quite on top of that stone in terms of where it was going to
Do you
be,
guys like
what
that
it was
one?
doing.
Well, they called it a 2, which is a range of 5 feet.
Right.
So you got a bit of area to play with. It ended up a little shorter than that. And this is why Cheryl now has to decide if those guards are
6,
meaningful,
right,
because
Sue?
they are very long now.
Board.
Big board, Sue.
Okay.
Just going to play the soft come around tap with the out turn. Exact same shot Val Sweeting hit and rolled out on.
No.
Susan O'Connor.
No. Board. No. No, no. 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 No.
Roll it away. Roll it out of there.
Good shot, Sue.
Shot stone, though. Steel point potentially. Still
That's good weight,
belongs
Sue.
to
Great weight.
Val Sweeting at the
Yeah.
back of the 8-foot.
If we hit nose, I guess she draws. Yeah. It's just fighting the board.
Okay.
The decision here is when to come in. If you could come in now, which is her decision, you could play something short, top 12, and sort of do the wait and see what happens with Cheryl's shot.
It's going to be buried. You can make it good, but just bite the forefoot because we're shot at the back.
Okay.
14 and a half. High 14 is nice here. 14 and a half.
good. You can go.
Fighting the 4.
5.
Room.
6. Whoa.
Room.
On the red.
5. Nosing the
No.
red. 6. Whoa.
No line.
Here. No.
There
7.
it goes.
No. No.
7.
No.
Might be by the red.
Yep.
7.
Whoa.
Whoa. 6.
By the red they are. To the tee line. Edge of the button to sit 2 without last rock.
14-3.
You ever missed it, she's got a rock on the button.
Yep.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think I like it.
Use your board. I kind of think. Yeah, that's probably good. I'll probably have like a back line.
I like it. Yep.
I love that weight shot. Remember the miss by Val Sweeting in end number 8. She had a similar shot to this, took a lot less ice and overthrew it.
Like a back
so
line.
they're just going to go back
Yeah.
line weight, back 8-foot weight. Just tap this back a little bit. Hopefully roll into this area would make it really difficult, but don't go behind the tee line. Even dead on's fine. Roll about a foot, Linda, maybe.
Yeah, with soft weight, it's going to be hard because it's crossing
Back
so
line,
hard at the end.
Back 12. Yep. Hard. Yep. Whoa. Hard.
Alexis and Olsen Johns have got her now. They've got to get it by their top center yellow guard first. That's job 1. Get it by there first.
Okay.
Get it out of there.
Little late.
Maybe back 12.
And time has been called by Val Sweeting,
No, it's good.
who sits 2 without last
Little
rock.
down, maybe? I thought I called back 12 out of your hand.
Sorry. Just worried we nose and leave her that same
What if
shot.
we come? What if we just freeze ourselves right here?
Yeah, we just can't be here.
She's
She's
got the
nose
double.
Double. Okay. Like she.
Because even if we go here, she still has the top.
She still has the top.
But she has to make it to pin, right?
Yeah.
She like coming here.
Leave her the top. She's got to tap it right to the pin.
But she
But
puts
if-
the slash.
Yeah, she's got to stick it though. That's true. We just can't be in here. I guess, like, there and there are doing the same thing, right?
Right here.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all in the same line.
All on that same line.
We'd rather make her tap than just play it
Yes.
this, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to come here.
No,
We
that's
don't.
not there.
No, we don't
That's
want
not
to
there.
either.
fine.
She just noses it.
Yeah.
That's not there. So anywhere in here,
To here.
I think is good. No, I don't even think here is very good at all.
No, that's useless.
That's
yeah,
useless.
That's true. That's not.
Anything up here, in this spot.
Yeah, like we can beat a nose worst case.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
I think just up there.
But I like, yeah.
Okay.
Here.
So just pretty much doing
What was
something.
the last
If
weight
they
on
go
the-
in this
the
spot
last
where
one?
I've illustrated, I think Cheryl's only real option is that.
Less weight.
So the only shot I could dream up that would be better than just putting a rock into this location would be the hitting. You could actually come down with a little bit of weight, take that raise away from Cheryl. And if you ever roll to that spot, Cheryl could then make the double and still lose the game. So I think ideally the hit and roll, but it's so difficult. If you hit it dead on, Cheryl's going to have a wide open shot. So this is probably the safest shot, and force Cheryl Bernard to make an angle raise and stick it.
Now, they talked also, as we look at this, about maybe coming down and being on top. What about just halfway to take away that angle?
Take away that angle red raise.
Yeah,
I think because you have to throw the same turn, it'll be curving away from that red rock, and you can't take away that angle. Maybe full 8-foot might do it, Vic.
No, line's good. Line's good.
Just a hair closer than I illustrated. You might be right.
Line's getting tighter.
Line's good.
Line's
Final
good.
stone
Yeah,
for
make it
Val
4.
Sweeting.
Not full 8.
Just 4.
No.
You gotta go a little if
No.
you can.
No, line's fine.
No. We're good. Good.
Val Sweeting looking to steal her way. One more step.
I left the big shot for the big shot maker, but the tricky part about this, as they pointed out on the Sweeting team, is second shot is yellow. You have to stick this
Yes.
raise. The second part that's tricky is I don't really feel that Cheryl's had that great confidence in where to put the broom. They've had some mistakes on those hits.
Well, I think they know, they're smart enough to know that this is a straight spot, but she just missed one narrow because you got it in a little tighter. So do you make that adjustment and then miss wide again? It's really easy to miss this one wide.
She lost her first 2 games.
It's like easy.
Cheryl Bernard and has rattled off 3 in a row to keep herself alive. Needs an angle raise here to take one more step. Val Sweeting has played her part so far, sitting 2. Final stone in a 7-7 tie.
Just easy. Yep.
To keep
Whoa,
herself
whoa, whoa.
alive
Whoa.
and possibly get
Whoa,
back to
yeah.
another Olympics.
Whoa. Whoa.
You can hear O'Connor now. Now, where's this angle? Where's this angle? Got it, move it, sit, no, spins too far. And Val Sweeting is going to steal the win, eliminating the Vancouver Olympian Cheryl Bernard.
Hi, everyone back home. Hi, Jackson. Hi, Miss Raptor.
We keep on going.
Interesting, there he got caught a little bit as it over-curled on them. So many big shots, but not able to make this one. And the end of the line has come for Cheryl Bernard. And so Val Sweeting, out of the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton, advances and now awaits the loser of tonight's game between Kelly Scott and Renee Sonnenberg. We are in Kitchener, and this is the road to the Roar.
The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The 2013 Capital One Road to the Roar is brought to you by Ford. Go further. By Scotties, Sponge Towels, Purex, and Cashmere. Proud to support the exceptional women of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And by World Financial Group. Creating a better tomorrow for families today. WFG.
A reminder, we're back with you at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. John Morris. Skipping now, Jim Cotter's team from BC will go against the reigning Canadian world silver medalist Brad Jacobs. The winner will pick up one of the 2 spots available on the men's side in Winnipeg. And also on the ice, 2 more must-win games. Rob Fowler against Steve Leacock. Brad Gugio against Greg Baldson. We'll keep you up to date, of course, on all of it. That's when we join you again at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Val Sweeting advances over Cheryl Bernard in this first of 3 draws today, and again tomorrow as our coverage. Our season of champions begins in fine style from here on Canada's sports leader, TSN.